It's the Orioles on Massett, and the series in Boston continues. Game 3 of the 4-game set here at Fenway Park, and it is going to be another cool day for baseball. Orioles-Red Sox have split the first two in this series. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. For the Orioles and Red Sox, it's been a lot about pitching in the first two games, not so much about the offense, at least in the runs department. Therefore, defense obviously matters, and yesterday for the Orioles, it really mattered. Diaz out in left field had already thrown out Ortiz when he made this outstanding catch on Sandoval for the second out of an inning. At third base, runners at first and third, Manny Machado on a real fine play gets Pedroia. That would end the inning. Steve Pearce, the diving catch on Bogaerts, that came in the fifth inning, part of an outstanding defensive play. Offensively, the offense was not bad yesterday. It's just that the big hit wasn't there. The Orioles ended up with 13 on the game, a double, a home run, 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position, 10 left on base. 7 of the 9 starters contributed in the hit department. So now it's a matter of getting those hits when you've got runners on. Interesting first two games, Mike.
Yeah, well, I'll say, obviously, that first game with Ubaldo getting ejected and just the way the whole game went. But yesterday was, I think, a big win for this team. Now, they'll take a win any way you can get it. But when everybody contributes and both offense, defense, and pitching are clicking, this is going to be one of the toughest teams in the game. And that's what happened yesterday. Yeah, they didn't come up with a big home run. They left 10 guys on base. But defensively, as good as you're going to see. Diaz out there, Steve Pearce, Manny Machado. They have the ability to focus and make that routine play, but that athletic ability to make those great plays that can really change games around. It was nice to see Chris Tillman have a good start and the bullpen bouncing back. Had a couple big double play balls in that game. So everybody contributed. The offense was great. They had a great game plan and ended up coming away with a big W.
Now with the game at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning and the bullpens having been used extensively for the Orioles, they would like to get a real good distance start from Gonzalez today. We'll see whether or not he can give that. Fenway Park, the site. Back for baseball after this. Braintree, Massachusetts. The color guard out there in center field here at Fenway, as you see, as was true yesterday, another windy day. Orioles baseball on Masson, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. You can book now at ococean.com. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Orioles, brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fares now at southwest.com. It'll be Cabrera, Paredes, Jones, Davis, Young, Snyder, Machado, Flaherty, and Joseph in his season debut. A good one. Paredes called up yesterday, DH'd, 2 for 5, picking up a double and a run score.
And let's take a look at Rick Porcello's pitch arsenal this season. Fastball, he's got a good sinker, 61% of the time. Breaking ball, little slider, cutter, kind of hybrid pitch, and a curveball to go along with it. Occasional changeup. Lefties will see the change. He's off to a real good start. He's actually going after his third quality start in a row to begin this season. 1-1 record with a .386 earned run average, 10 punch-outs, 3 walks on the season. Good command pitcher. Likes to get the ball on the ground with that sinking movement. He's only 26 years old. This is his 7th season in the major leagues. So a young guy with a lot of experience. And the Red Sox hoping that he can really stabilize this rotation.
Big deal, of course, the trade that brought him over here with Cespedes going the other way with the Detroit Tigers. And they really are counting on him to have a big year, perhaps even a little better than last year when he was 15-13. He beat the Orioles twice last season, going 2-0. His record lifetime against the Orioles, 3 wins and 5 losses. So the Orioles come in the third of the 4-game set. Day game here. Temperature at game time is going to be 48 degrees. Cool again with that wind blowing right to left and or blowing in, swirling around a bit. But it's another cool, chilly day. And for Buck Showalter's ball club, they will look to pick up their 7th win. They are a game behind Boston in second place. The Red Sox 7-4. The Orioles are 6-5. It's been a real good pitchers duel series so far. The Orioles winning yesterday by a score of 4-1. The opener, of course, won in the 9th inning by the Red Sox 3-2. Here is Everth Cabrera. Cabrera back at the top of the lineup. 5-game hit streak for him. Couple of hits in 7 at-bats in this series. Sandoval will play where he's been virtually every batter for the entire series, which is halfway down the line at third base.
Boy, right in tight, taking that bunt away early in the ball game. As you mentioned, this whole series in there on the grass well. I mean, nobody's even attempted one his way.
Porcello's delivery, and the pitch will be taken inside. Porcello's rate will be a good deal better than Buchholz yesterday. Everybody, players, coaches, fans, were complaining yesterday that Buchholz took an interminable amount of time between pitches and lengthened the game interminably. He was timed at 14 seconds on average between pitchers in the ball game.
Yeah, you know, and typically he'll work a little quicker when nobody's on. Unfortunately for the Orioles offense, they were getting some base hits off him, so keeping the pressure on him, and he really had to slow down the ball game to try to keep his team close. And he ended up pitching a pretty good game, even though it did take forever.
Porcello likes to work in a hurry, and you see Cabrera stepping out. He'll be notified by Major League Baseball after the game today that he's not supposed to do that. Eric Cabrera, Porcello with the delivery to him and a chopper towards second base. Holt is there and does get him. One of the few times we're not going to see Pedroia start.
All right, and Holt, super utility guy, he'll be playing second base today. Here, look at the outfield, though. Ramirez, Betts, and Victorino. Victorino back in the game after bruising his ribs, running into the wall in the first game of the series. Bogart's at short with Holt there at second. Sandoval and Napoli on the corners, and Leone doing the catching. Now, Leone signed here this year in March when Vasquez went down with Tommy John surgery, so they're hoping his defensive ability can really keep this staff pitching well. He is known as a defensive catcher.
Big swing and a miss on a fastball. Jimmy Paredes, he is the designated hitter again today, as he was yesterday. Yesterday, Paredes hit 5th in the lineup. He's batting in the number 2 spot right now. He had a 2 for 5 in the ball game. Paul Emmel is the home plate umpire today. Andy Fletcher's got first. John Tumpane will be at second. And Jerry Meals, the crew chief, is supposed to be over at third today. If you followed along in this series, there is an umpire missing here who's been on this crew, and that's Jordan Baker. He is not on the crew for this game. He's the one who threw out Waldo Jimenez in that first ball game. Now, whether his not being here today has anything to do with that, we don't know. Major League Baseball doesn't talk about those things, but he's not here.
Yeah, well, you would think if there was going to be a day that he was going to miss, it might be yesterday, because he was at third base right next to the Orioles dugout. Yeah. So they might have filled his ear with some news.
That one's up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. So Paredes returned to the Orioles. A good one. That's 3 hits now in his first 6 at bats. A bounder here at Fenway out into center field.
A nice piece of hitting right there by Paredes. He doesn't get cheated. He knows what to do up there, both on the left and right side. And you're going to see some lefties against Porcello. That's where he's had his problems almost in his career. Lefties hitting almost 300 off him.
Well, the Orioles get the first base hit of the ball game, and that'll bring up the hottest hitter in the lineup, Adam Jones. You see the 4 for 9 that he has picked up in this series. Adam has an 8-game hit streak going that he started during the homestand for the Orioles. Porcello's pitch to him. That'll be popped back up over the press box behind home plate. Adam has gone 4 for 24 lifetime against Porcello.
Well, the Orioles have come in with a real good game plan. They've had it all year long. New hitting coach Scott Coolbaugh seems to really get in their heads about how pitchers are going to try to get them out. We've seen here in this series especially really working the starting pitcher. Game plan today, try to get Porcello up with his fastball. That sinker flattens out.
He did, way back in left field, and goodbye home run. What a shot out on the Lansdowne. And Adam Jones continues red hot as he delivers a 2 RBI homer here in the first inning. And the Orioles, who lead the majors in home runs, add one more to it.
Another great swing by Adam Jones, his 5th home run of the season. Cheating a little bit for that sinker, and everything opened up at the right time. Adam Jones seeing the ball very well right now. Nice little hitting streak.
Boy, did he clock that one. So Jones jumps on Porcello. Porcello's already given up 4 home runs now in his 3 starts. 3 of those have been hit by right-handers. Here's Davis, and here's Adam.
Well, here's a look at the sinker. Doesn't really sink, stays on the same plane. Adam's front hip gets out of there, clears, and the hands come through, and this is a rocket flying over the fans on top of that monster.
And Chris Davis after that one, a 1-ball, 1-strike count. For Adam Jones now, he is tied for second in home runs. Ironically, Nelson Cruz leads the American League with 6 homers. And with 13 RBIs, Adam has moved to the top spot in the American League in runs batted in. And he came into the ball game, in addition to that, with the 4th best average, hitting .415 in the American League. Chris Davis with a home run yesterday, and a big blow that is the icing on the cake for the Orioles. Take a look at who's hot and who's not from American Standard, celebrating the season with the American Standard All-Star event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate financing opportunities.
Yeah, Chris Davis, last 3 games, 5 for 13. That big home run to get that separation between the Sox and the O's. A couple doubles and 5 RBIs. And you see Napoli, he's been struggling. Slow start this season, 1 for 7 in this series.
He got him called on the 3rd strike. Chris at the top of the pile in the American League in that department.
Yeah, everything on the perimeter, but I think Chris Davis is looking for something else. This is pretty much right down Broadway. Fastball pretty straight as well at 93 miles an hour.
So Delman Young gets a chance in the ball game. He has not played in the first 2. Delman against Porcello is 8 for 24 with a home run. One of the reasons that he's going to get a chance in left field in the ball game today. You see the career numbers he has against Boston. Delman, of course, has turned into perhaps the game's best pinch hitter. If you go back to last season, he had a 2 for 2 on Wednesday night, and Delman Young is now 11 for his last 22 as a pinch hitter. 500 batting average going back through last year. 6 RBIs also as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff for Delmon Young. And he's really been a great hitter his whole career. Still a young guy, already almost 10 years in the big leagues, but he's got a lot of experience, and you don't really see the great pinch hitters in the American League. But Delmon Young's had to change his game plan a little bit. Now his value can work in both leagues. Obviously, great concentration and focus.
He pops that one up behind second base, shallow center field. Shortstop will put it away. Bogart's going up. Young is retired, but the Orioles are on the board. Brady's got the single. Jones got the home run. It is a 2-0 Orioles lead. Of those have been hit here at Fenway Park. So Gonzalez goes out with the lead. Here's the lineup he'll face: Holt, Betts, and Ortiz, Ramirez, Napoli, Sandoval, Victorino, Bogarts, and Leone. For Brock Holt, he is the hot one in the lineup for the Red Sox.
Let's take a look at Miguel Gonzalez's pitch arsenal this year, and it has been spot on. Loves to mix it up. 51% fastballs, and he can move the two-seamer in and out. Breaking ball. He's got a slow curve, but a nice tight slider, and he's been able to locate it well. But it's his changeup that has really gotten off to a good start. Used it 18% of the time. Took him to 10 punch-outs, career high in his last start. See that earned run average at 1.42. 15 Ks, 6 walks on the year for Miguel. He's on a roll right now, and he's looking to continue this hot streak of pitching.
And here is Brock Holt, who will take the first pitch up high for a ball. 5-game hit streak for Holt, 3 for 4 in this series. He has faced Gonzalez only 4 at bats, gone 1 for 4 against him. Infield will play him to pull. Third base in a bit, Manny Machado. And the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. For Gonzalez, 7th start against the Red Sox, 4-1, 2.56 ERA, great number. He's had 3 previous starts here at Fenway, 2-0, and a 1.31 ERA in this ballpark. Now this was, if you went by the rotation dates, this would have been Wei-Yin Chen's day to pitch, but Buck Showalter flip-flopped. Wanted him in this ball game here for this day game, and especially, as you can see, wanted him to pitch at Fenway.
Yeah, well, obviously you don't want to miss Miguel's starts here. He's great against the Yankees and the Red Sox, and you highly coveted pitchers that can have success in the American League East. And Miguel, this is his 4th season with the O's, and he's had great success, and that's why he's a consistent contributor here. And Buck Showalter loves the fact that he's in the rotation. He and Wei-Yin Chen get extra days now and then. I think this year you're going to see them more consistent as they both try to get up over that 200 inning mark.
Against the East for Gonzalez, his record is 5-2. This is his 13th start against an Eastern Division opponent in his career with the Orioles, but his ERA against the East is 2.78. I mean, that's a phenomenal number.
Yes, it is.
The Orioles do the big shift now with the count going to 2-2, and it's hit right through that shift. So a base hit for Holt as he crosses up the defense in the infield. He's got a 6-game hit streak and a leadoff single.
Yeah, he stayed very consistent. Let's take a look at the Orioles defense. Delman Young getting that start in left field. Adam Jones in center with Travis Snyder liking him over in right field. Cabrera and Flaherty up the middle. Machado and Davis on the corners. And Caleb Joseph back behind the plate again. He's another red-hot Oriole bat.
Betts has had 3 at-bats in the series. Gone 0 for 3. Couple of home runs you see in 8 RBIs. Batting in the 2 spot, playing in center. He's 2 for 5 against Gonzalez lifetime with a home run. Holt on at first base. And the pitch is going to miss outside for a ball. Red Sox have done some running this season, not necessarily in this series. They've picked up 8 stolen bases in 8 chances so far. Holt's got 1 of them, 1 for 1.
Timing really everything with the stolen base, and it seems like the start of this season they're doing it the right way. They're picking the right pitch.
Base stealers against Gonzalez last year had success. They were 12 out of 14. Take a look at our Jeep inside the numbers.
2013, 2014, they were caught 15 out of 46 attempts. Well, this year, 0 of 8 in attempts, tied for the fewest in the major league. So Betts has 3, Bogart's a couple. So Holt get that stolen base yesterday.
And the pitch by Gonzalez will be outside. Again, as we noted yesterday, Buck Showalter saying in this weather, he's always wary of the pitchers relying on the fastball, whether or not they can get the good grip. That ball's slippery in cold weather. Tillman, I thought, did a real good job with it yesterday, and the Oriole pitchers did. Didn't seem to bother. We'll see whether or not it has an impact today. Delivery to Mookie Betts, and that ball in the air to right field, hit hard. Snyder back on the warning track. Runner was down to second base, so Holt will come back as Snyder puts it away, retiring Betts.
Pretty good pass on that fastball from Miguel Gonzalez. He fell behind 2-0, so challenging him right there. Betts put a nice swing on it. Nice job by Travis Snyder to run that one down.
And as was true yesterday, Mike, with this weather and the wind blowing in or right to left, it's going to be hard to get a ball up in the air to go anywhere. It's going to die more often than not. Now, Jones just pulverized his over the monster. But this is not a day where the weather's going to be in favor of power hitters, such as David Ortiz. And probably now will hit a 2-run homer. 1 down, Holt on at first base. Ortiz has not had a hit off Gonzalez, 0 for 6. Which outside for a ball. He has had a good series.
Well, Miguel really tough on lefties, and it's because of that split finger changeup that he throws. It has nice fade action down and away. So he likes to bust the lefties hard in with the fastball, try to bring it back over, and then go right to that split finger.
13 innings. He's given up 8 hits so far on the year. Gonzalez in the 2 starts this season, left-handers hitting 161 and right-handers 167. That's how good he's been. Last year wasn't much difference either, 259 to 249 lefty righties. Ortiz will take the breaking ball. That will miss. And the count goes to 2-0 on Ortiz.
So here in the early going, Caleb Joseph trying to figure out what's working well for Miguel. He's mixed up some pitches, a little breaking ball right there, but he's fallen behind. So trying to get ahead with that fastball. You mentioned the fastball command is a key, and sometimes on these cool, dry days, hard to get that good grip.
Big shift on, of course, against Ortiz. That'll catch the outside corner for a strike. This is probably the most pronounced shift we see the Oriole defense in. I mean, Machado's almost behind second base.
Yeah, really swinging that shift over. Now, this is something you have to be aware of, a potential stolen base here. Who's going to be covering third base? Now, if Manny's covering on the stolen base, it's up to the pitcher, Miguel Gonzalez. Hustle back over there and make sure, prevent Holt or any potential base stealer from continuing to run on to third base. Mookie Betts did that earlier this week. Stole second on the shift and then headed on into third safely.
That one's going to miss. And a 3-ball 1-strike count on Ortiz.
David Ortiz's hits by direction, pretty consistent right there. Obviously the big power hitter likes to pull it, but we've seen him shoot the ball to left field as well, especially if he falls behind early. He has that ability to use the whole field.
268 lifetime hitter against the Orioles, 43 career home runs. And did he go? They want to check at third. Yes. Jerry Meals, and Ortiz didn't like it. He dropped the bat. He was headed down to first base. Hands on hips. The Ortiz show begins.
He really didn't like that.
How dare they call a strike on me? 3-2.
Another chance to hit here. He doesn't want to walk anyway. They didn't come here to see Big Papi walk. They want to see him swing the bat.
He doesn't like to walk either. He's always got a little body language whenever he gets the free pass, and obviously he gets a lot of them. 3-2. Let's see whether or not Holt takes off from first base here with only one away. Long hold. 3-2. Runner goes. Pitches up high, and he walked him on that one. Gonzalez surrenders the free pass, and the Red Sox get runners on at first and second base with one away.
Definitely have to be careful to David Ortiz, and Miguel was right there. Nothing real close. Don't want to give up long ball to Ortiz. Feels better against facing Ramirez right now. Ramirez has had some struggles here recently, and Miguel feels more confident that he can get a nice ground ball off Ramirez's bat and get out of this inning.
Ortiz gets his 7th walk. He is tied for the team lead in walks with 7. Napoli's already got 7. Now Ramirez, he hasn't had a hit here in this series. He's gone 0 for 7, average now at 233. Does have 4 home runs, 9 RBIs on the year. First and second occupied, and he lifts that one. That's near the monster. And goodbye home run. But for the sign, that would have been on Lansdowne Street. Ramirez with a 3 RBI homer, and the Red Sox have a 3-2 lead.
Kept that bat at bay here in this series, but he took advantage of a mistake fastball from Miguel. It's the power that he possesses. 5th home run of the season. That's why they brought him over. They needed to bolster the offense. This is why a center cut fastball that he does not miss. Wants to chase Adam Jones's ball out there. Is a rocket.
First home run given up by Gonzalez this season, who gave up 25 last year. And Ramirez, that's why they're willing to have him play left field and have mistakes made as a defensive player, because that's what he gives you back. And the Red Sox hope is there'll be more of that than miscues in left.
Now you mentioned Miguel Gonzalez, the 25 home runs he gave up last year, but he gave up 21 solo shots. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is a big blast, a 3-run homer.
Here is Napoli, who will take the pitch for his strike. Napoli's picked up a hit here in this series, hitting at only 132, but he's been scoring runs and getting on base. So in a series where the first 2 games the teams couldn't hit with people on base, they haven't taken long to get over that in the first inning of this game. Jones gets the 2-run homer. Ramirez gets the 3-run homer. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Defense squares up here on Napoli with Sandoval waiting on deck. And a swing and a miss on one in the strike zone, 1-2.
Nice to get that second strike there, but you can tell his fastball command's a little off right now. That fastball that Ramirez hit was supposed to be inside, maybe on the inner third, and it stayed in the middle of the plate.
1-2 delivery on the way, and that one goes off the mask of Caleb Joseph.
That one there a little dangerous, up in the zone, up and out, over. You don't want to give the big guy Napoli a chance to get those arms extended, and you see the foul ball catching Caleb Joseph right on the chin.
Orioles in the home run department have hit the major league leading 18. They have given up 12. 1-2 pitch, and got him on the outside corner. He didn't think so, and will delay his departure, but he will depart, and Gonzalez gets the strikeout.
Beautiful pitch right there, painted down and away after working that up and away quadrant. That's the spot, down and away, and locking Napoli up. Real good pitch right there. Get that second out.
And that'll bring up Sandoval, third baseman, switch hitter. 1 for 6 in this one. Good start for him, average wise at 286. Long ball hasn't been there for him yet. And the pitch will miss for a ball. Sandoval batting left-handed. all of the hits he's picked up, 12 of them. He's 12 for 29 from this side of the plate. He's not had a hit batting from the other side, 0 for 13. A check swing on a pitch that's going to be down low, and the count goes to 2-0.
Well, that split finger right there. Now there's a reason why a split finger is an effective pitch. Now obviously it dives there. Miguel, one of the better ones in the game, but you have to have the fastball command. The splitter works off that fastball, much like the changeup, as it comes in like his heater and then just disappears. So he'd be able to have that ability to throw that fastball for strikes more consistently. Right now, just a little bit off.
And the pitch count piling up on him early here, 24. And that's 4 in a row out of the strike zone, and you can bet Buck Showalter and pitching coach Dave Wallace are already thinking, oh my goodness, the bullpen. On Friday, the Orioles will be home to begin a 3-game weekend series against these Red Sox. It's the only weekend series in Baltimore between these two teams this year. Good seats remain, but won't last. Show your Birdland pride and paint the park orange. For tickets, 888-848-BIRD, or go to Orioles.com. So Sandoval is on with the second walk of the inning, and Shane Victorino comes to the plate. He's only had the one at bat here in this series. Victorino listed as a switch hitter, but he isn't. Not anymore. He bats from the right side of the plate now, because that's the side he was having the success from. 2 down and a 1-strike count of Victorino.
He could take advantage of that green monster from the right side.
Sandoval off first base. Gonzalez will come inside. Count goes to 1-1.
When you make your adjustments to try to find that command, that proper release point for the fastball, sometimes you have to over adjust a little bit. Right there, letting that fastball go in there. It's okay to miss inside and move his feet a little bit, set up something away.
Pitch is going to be outside, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Asked Buck Showalter after the game last night whether he felt he needed to make any roster changes in order to bolster the bullpen for today's game, and the answer was not yet. May have to for tomorrow if Gonzalez goes short in this one. 2-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to miss. 29 pitches and 2 outs. 3-ball, 1-strike count.
Well, Caleb Joseph, even though that ball wasn't a strike, he gave the sign of approval with the glove because he drove the ball downhill and over the plate, flying open a little bit, and you lose command of that fastball.
And there's another walk. So he has walked 3 here in the first inning, and Victorino will go to first. Sandoval will go to second base, and Dave Wallace will come to the mound.
Yeah, just a little breather here, and it's mostly about when Miguel gets in problems, it's because his mechanics are off a little bit. It's just a little bit of keeping that front shoulder in there a little bit longer and driving towards home plate. When he pulls off, the ball sails a little bit and the command isn't quite there with his fastball. When he locks into that, everything works off his fastball, and he has the ability to locate it in and out. The split finger becomes much more effective. The hard slider becomes more effective, and he will settle in. He'll find it. He's felt good this year. He's able to make those adjustments a little bit quicker than he has in the past. So trying to get this third out and then try to settle into this ball game. And as you mentioned, you'd love for him to get deeper, 5th, 6th inning anyway. The Orioles don't have to make any more calls to try to get arms for that bullpen.
Xander Bogaerts now, runners on at first and second base. Shift on against him. He'll go after the first pitch. He's gone 1 for 8 lifetime against Gonzalez. Miguel walked 5 in that first start against Tampa Bay, which was a career high, tied a career high mark. He only walked 1 in that last outing against New York. Tampa Bay was a loss 2-0 against New York. Orioles won it 4-1, and he got the win. Needs to get Bogaerts out of here. 8th batter to hit. Leon, the catcher, waiting on deck. Bogaerts goes after the same pitch with the same result. It's 0-2.
Well, there's the hard slider. Beautiful pitch right there. I think Dave Wallace came out and said, hey, instead of trying to get that fastball down, finish your slider out front, and that will help you command your fastball a little bit better. Here he dots him. See the pitch track. First slider on the plate. The other one wanted it to run off a little bit, and sure enough, it did for 2 strikes.
0-2 count, 2 down. Big lead at second base, Sandoval. Bogaerts will take that one up high. The Red Sox here in this series, amazingly, have had only 1 hit with a runner in scoring position. They are 1 for 14. Ended up with an 0 for 9 yesterday, a 1 for 5. Day before that, they are now 9th in the American League in these situations, hitting at .234. Bogaerts has been their leader. He's had a 5 for 11 with runners in scoring position. 2 ball, 2 strike count.
Nice try right there from Miguel, trying to bring the 2-seamer back on the outside corner for strike 3, but just stayed away.
2-2. Runners edging off first and second base. Bogaerts will swing through it, and Gonzalez gets the strikeout. Big homer by Ramirez, good for 3, and the Red Sox take a 3-2 lead. She's won 500 for being selected. You've already won 500 more on the Adam Jones home run, and you get 500 for every Orioles home run hit today. Play baseball bucks scratch-offs, win up to $50,000. Enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/baseball. So we open up first inning with combined 5 runs on 4 hits. Let's see where this goes. Orioles will have Snyder, Manny Machado, and Flaherty due up. Snyder getting the start in right field. 1 for 10 lifetime off Rick Porcello. Infield moves, playing him to pull, and the pitch will miss for a ball.
And Buck Showalter loading the lineup. We mentioned that Porcello struggles against lefties, almost a career .300 batting average, so Snyder in there. He's off to a fine start at the plate.
It was interesting that last year against Porcello, lefties righties had the exact same numbers, 268 and 9 home runs, both righties and lefties. So he did better last year against left-handers than those career numbers, and we'll see where that ends up going this year.
Yeah, he had a real good year. Kind of waiting for him to turn the corner. The young pitcher rushed up to the big leagues, and last year he got over that 200 inning mark for the first time. Really established himself as a quality starter in the game. Not that he hadn't been, but they thought he could turn the corner, and I think the Red Sox feel that they got him at the right time where he is going to be one of those true, top of the rotation starters.
3 ball, 1 strike count. Snyder will take a walk if he can get it. That'll be swung on and missed. The count goes full. Against the Orioles, Porcello's ERA is 4.28, 3 wins, 5 losses. He went 2-0 against the Orioles last year. Obviously the first time he has faced them here at Fenway Park. 3-2. Snyder will foul it back, keep it alive.
Porcello doesn't have the great fastball command in the early going. as well, leaving some fastballs up in the zone. Typically, you'll see him pounding that sinker down at the bottom below the knees. And here against Snyder, everything up there. It might be by plan. Maybe that's their game report against Snyder, but some mistakes on the plate up in the zone will get hit.
3-2 delivery. Came back on that one. Pulled the elastic. Snyder retired on the strikeout, second for Porcello.
Pretty good change right here. Now he works it off the fastball. You see the fade, much like his sinker. Good arm sell, and it gets Snyder out in front. You see that front body or upper body leak. The hip comes open. Hard to stay on a pitch when your hip and your shoulder leak.
Hate that when my shoulder leaks. Here's Manny Machado and a swing and a miss. Manny trying to get a hit here, 0 for 7 in this series. Machado in a ballpark he's hit well in his young career. 279 average here at Fenway with a couple of home runs. Porcello's delivery to him, and that'll be fouled back. 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, a couple good passes right there for Manny Machado. Kind of cheating for that sinker on the first one, and a straight fastball that he's on. Just fouling it off, though. Now he's got to get into that protective mode. Trying to put the ball in play, square it up.
And that one will just miss. Porcello wanted the call, doesn't get it. A little bit low and a 1-ball, 2-strike count. He is a pronounced ground ball pitcher when he is on. 8th best ground ball to fly ball ratio last year in the American League. And that's on the outside corner, and Guyan gets his 3rd strikeout. Manny didn't like that one.
Manny didn't like that one, but the pitch before was a pretty good pitch that Porcello didn't like. Here the little cutter slider, you see it just kick off the plate, but he gets the call. 86 miles an hour. A hybrid type pitch, not really a true slider and more of a cutter, but when he takes velocity off of that pitch it gets to be more of a tilt and act like a slider.
Ryan Flaherty. Ryan continued hitting well in this ballpark. 2 for 4 in the ball game. In for Jonathan Scope on the DL. Scope headed to Sarasota today, where he will rehab and not foresee an operation. It's a rehab process. He'll do it in Sarasota at the Orioles spring training hall. 2 down, nobody on. Flaherty 2 for 5, lifetime off Porcello.
Nice game yesterday for Ryan Flaherty. Not a lot of playing time here in the early going, but with Scope going down, fills in nicely yesterday. A couple nice double plays and a couple hits.
That ball drilled in the air, center field. He got a lot of that one. 379, way back, off the top of the wall. Goodbye home run. Ryan Flaherty delivers the long ball with 2 down here in the 2nd inning, and the Orioles tie the ball game up at 3. Flaherty's first home run here at Fenway Park, where he is a 377 hitter. And Mary Kay Sumner, our Maryland lottery contestant, there's another $500.
Pretty nice swing right there from Ryan Flaherty. Yeah, he loves hitting at Fenway Park. Family and friends all around. They just witnessed a bomb to straightaway center.
Boy, that was tagged. There aren't many home runs hit in that well area, and the pitch outside.
Well, some good at bats yesterday. He squared up some balls, and here you see what he's working on. That head down, boom, right on the baseball. Big guy, so great extension. Straightaway center, beautiful swing.
Fouled away by Caleb Joseph. The Orioles tie it up. 2 home runs in the ballgame for the Orioles, who have now had at least 1 home run in each of their last 9 games. As was true last year, the Orioles living off the long ball. Caleb with a 5-game hit streak. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball away. Couple of hits, 6 at bats, a home run, and 2 RBIs in the first 2 games of this series. The Orioles really getting some offensive production out of their catcher, with Matt Wieters down and his return date not known. And that's a hard hit, center field. That's going to fall in for a single. Caleb Joseph now has got a 6-game hit streak and keeps the inning alive.
A really good swing right there, and this team becomes dangerous when everybody's hitting.
And if they hit enough, you may get a free pizza, or a 50% off one anyway. When the Orioles win and score 5 or more runs, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders, papajohns.com, and a promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, held at participating Baltimore area Papa John's. Sorry, Papa John, I didn't mean to say free. It's 50% off. worked at a football game once. Papa John came in.
Yeah.
Like a dozen pizzas into the booth.
Wow.
It was, of course, to get on the air and advertise, but I thought it was a smart move. He knew me well enough that he brought in a pizza. He was going to get on the air. And he did.
Is he in town?
He's not in town that I know of, no. It's good. 1-0 count. Everett Cabrera. Cabrera grounded out his first time up. The Orioles now have 4 hits in the ball game. Sandoval again in at third. And a big cut on Porcello's 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, up in the top of the zone again, making some mistakes up there. Already a couple long balls hit by the Orioles. You see that fastball pretty much center cut to Cabrera.
Porcello's delivery to him, tried to hold up and strike. Called. Cabrera asking whether or not it was on the swing or just a strike. And I think Paul Emel told him it was a strike.
I think he thought that the little slider was going to move in off the plate, but it held its head and stayed true and actually did pick up that second strike.
Porcello will miss inside with that one, and the count goes to 2-2. 3-3 ball game here in the second inning. Both pitchers having to throw a ton. That's 44 pitches that have been thrown by Porcello so far in the ball game. Short lead at first base for Joseph. And a swing and a miss. So they'll have 4 strikeouts for Porcello, but for the Orioles, 2 homers off him in this inning. Ryan Flaherty is second of the year with 2 down in the inning. Will tie it up 3-3. Later in our ball game today, brought to you by Miller Lite. Flaherty's 3rd career home run against the Red Sox, first here at Fenway. 3-3 game. Bottom of the second inning. Adam Jones delivered the home run in the first inning, a 2-run shot, his 5th of the year. Leon was the only Red Sox not to hit in the first inning. Their catcher batting 9th, first appearance in this series. Holt and Betts will follow. Sandy Leon acquired the end of spring training from the Nationals for cash, with the starting catcher for the Red Sox out on the DL. 34 big league games prior to this season all came with the Nationals over the last 3 years at the major league level. Out of Maracaibo, Venezuela, and he's 26 years old. And Leon now the backup catcher for Boston.
Yeah, they like his defensive ability. He's thrown out 45% of potential base stealers in the minor leagues. So a strong arm, like the way he calls a game. Back in the day, this guy would have been a frontline catcher when they didn't count on offensive production as much. And he is a switch hitter, so anything he does with the bat will just be gravy. They just want him here to control the pitching staff.
Got out in front of that one and will foul it off. Well, Leon with a 1-ball 2-strike count. We'll see whether Miguel Gonzalez can get a little more efficient here with the 39 pitches thrown. Try and have a couple of quicker innings and get that pitch count back to something around the 16 per inning mark. 1-2 delivery on the way, and a great off-speed pitch out in front of it for the strikeout, his third.
Well, there you go. Work to get ahead with the fastball. It helps that split finger, and take a look at it dive. 85 miles an hour. Leon thinking about the fastball, and it is until it drops down. Great split finger once again from Miguel.
That'll bring up Brock Holt, who continued his hit streak to 6 games with a base hit and a run scored in that first inning. During the 6-game hit streak now, he's 12 for 19. 5 RBIs during that time. So Holt gets to play and gets to lead off. A couple of hits, 5 at-bats lifetime against Gonzalez now. 1-0 pitch to him. Low, maybe inside, and the count goes to 2-0. Pitching from behind hitters.
Yeah, not good. And the ability to get ahead early can suit any pitcher very well. So it's a battle to get back into the count when you don't have the fastball command.
Outside corner strike of the knees that time.
Although that one a very good fastball. Nice 2-seam movement as well.
2-ball, 1-strike count, 1 down here. Wind continues to blow in from center. That pitch is there. That's on the inside corner. 2 really good location pitches right there. 2-2.
Holt, and we've seen it in this series, and even last year he had a great offensive year, but he's very patient. He's not in any kind of rush. He wants to see the ball, see the pitches that are going to be thrown by the starter, and he doesn't try to do too much. The hits that he's gotten in this series have all been up the middle, so he has that ability to use the whole field.
Red Sox in this series have now drawn 13 walks to this point. They have struck out 18 times, fouled off. Just that alone's a lot of pitches thrown in this series already, just in strikes and walks. 3-ball, 2-strike count, full count again. 2 in a row have been struck out by Gonzalez. He ended the first inning with a K on Bogarts. And the 3-2 delivery on the way, and he'll get another one. So that's 4 for Gonzalez, 2 down here in the inning.
Nice job right there by Miguel. Real tough at bat by Holt. He showed him everything he had, and then kind of challenges him with the high fastball. Gets a piece, but Caleb, a nice job holding on. Second out. That's a good strikeout to help his confidence.
Gonzalez had 3 starts against the Red Sox last year. Non-decisioned in the first one. The Orioles lost by 1. Then he beat them 4-0 in the second game. Took a loss in his third outing. It was a 3-2 ball game. Pitched really well against Boston on the season, and 4-1 lifetime with that great 2.5 earned run average against the Red Sox. 0-1 count, 2 down. Betts flying out to right field. His first time up, hit it hard. That is there for a strike. 93-mile-an-hour fastball, 92, and the count goes 0-2.
Well, he fell behind the Betts 2-0, and Betts rifled a fastball to right center that Snyder flagged down. Well, here getting ahead. Nice job to get back ahead. So he goes to his off speed. Pitches for the big strikeout.
Gonzalez with a 1-2 delivery on the way. A ground ball he really had to reach for that time. Cabrera's got it. Good hard throw over to first base to get the out. So it is a clean inning. 1-2-3 after 8 Red Sox came up in the first inning. We go to the top of the third. 3-3. Kansas City Star Sam Mellinger wrote, "The Royals are the most emotional team in baseball, something that runs very counter to the put your head down and don't say a word culture of the league. This is part of the baseball code that you should have died out a long time ago. The code is outdated and misguided." He's talking about a Kansas City team that likes to celebrate. A lot of jumping around, a lot of high fives, a lot of like celebration in the end zones that we see in football, which have always been contrary to what you do in baseball. And as a result, Kansas City's become a team that a lot of guys get hit with pitches. And there's a lot of yapping that goes on because the KC players do things that haven't generally been done in baseball. And in writing that article, he referred to the NBA and all the slam dunks and stuff that goes on there, and football and all the celebrations that goes on there. And his point was, why don't we do that in baseball? This is entertainment. Fans like to see it, so let it be. That will create some discussion. Ball tomahawked in the air by Paredes. It'll be handled in right field by Victorino. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, you can look at it a couple different ways, and obviously the era I played in, and I'm not talking about the steroid era. I'm just talking baseball in general. It still had that old school mentality where you respect the game, you respect your opponent, and I think so many people look at the game as such a national pastime that it's just part of the society. The hard work, blue collar game where you go out there and you work hard for your fans. You don't show anybody up. You bring your lunch pail and do it, because back in the day, players used to live right in the same communities as the same people that went and worked in the factory, so it was all one and the same. Now, sure, they had fun playing the game, but they respected it. They respected the other players, that went about their business the right way. And so many guys have carried that and held it in such a high, honor to be a part of Major League Baseball that I think it rubs people the wrong way when you see that showboating and I look at it now, and I see my little kids emulating players. They flip their bat when they hit the wiffle ball or whatever, and I think, well, it is a game. You're supposed to have fun, but I think deep in the heart of this pastime, you have to understand where it came from and respect the roots and the passion that is involved in this great game.
Adam Jones, home run his first time up, good for 2 RBIs, and a 0-2 count on him. And a foul tip that's going to be in the mitt and held on to. Porcello's got his 5th strikeout.
Porcello using the high fastball to his advantage here. Now, typically you want to get Porcello elevated, but we've seen a lot of high straight fastballs in this game, and he indeed does get Adam Jones to chase up and out of the zone.
I think there's also a cultural difference that's come into play in baseball with all the players who come out of the Latin American players. If you go to a Caribbean World Series game, I mean, it is a circus.
Yeah,
I don't mean that
is.
negatively.
No.
But I mean, they celebrate and holler and yell and high five, and I mean, it's completely different from what we see at the major league level. Then those players who are playing in the major leagues, they bring that with them, that kind of celebration with them. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Somebody said vote one way or the other on that. I don't know if I could right now. I really don't know where I stand, because I've always been old school.
I agree
in that regard,
and I think most have. I think you can still enjoy the game and have fun without showing anybody up. I really do.
And I think that's a point, isn't it, though, that those actions by players celebrating what they're doing in a game are perceived as showing up the opponent when they're not intended that way because of the history.
Sure.
Because they're just playing. I don't know. I thought it was a great column and a very interesting note, in the Royals do happen to be the team in Major League Baseball right now that just does a lot of that celebrating, and a lot of people in baseball have been negative about it and responded. Chris Davis, 3-ball, 1-strike count with 2 down, and he takes one in the air to right field. That is way back. Davis robbed by the wind, yes, and misplayed by Victorino. He'll go into second base with a double. Victorino will not want to see the replay on that. That ball was headed to the bullpen. Victorino was too, and then he had to circle it, and it fell in front of him.
Well, I think Victorino, like everybody at Fenway Park and us here in the booth, thought that one was going to end up in the seats or over the bullpen. Chris Davis thought he got it as well, but the wind caught it. Victorino says, oh boy, did I misplay that one. You see him smiling. Chris Davis, that classic home run swing, but then all of a sudden, whoa, what happened? Wind got it. Turns it into second gear and on into second base.
Everybody got fooled on that one. So the Orioles get a runner to second here with 2 down. Here is Young, who popped out his first time up. Good stop made. Leon going outside to block that.
Tough with the swirling wind in any stadium to judge what the ball is actually going to do. The wind kind of picks up here at Fenway Park and swirls around, that time knocking it down in right field. Elements play such a huge role in every game, knowing where the sun is.
2 in a row blocked.
Yeah, good block there. Sun and wind, and how the ball's going to be played. And I think Red Sox fans letting Victorino know. He goes, yeah, I know. I was right here. I did it.
I saw it. Up close and personal. Yep. Davis on at second base. He saw it too. You won't forget about running out of the box for a while. He was in the home run trot. 2-0 count with 2 down. Delman Young, that's going to be to second base. They were playing him deep. Holt is there and makes the play. So the Orioles retire, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. We're not going to celebrate loudly here as we go on with the score. Orioles also a destination for culinary adventure, from fresh local seafood to the eclectic array of world-class cuisine. Savor Sarasota Restaurant Week coming up June 1 through the 14th, celebrating its 10th year. Visit savorsarasota.com. We are 48 degrees. Game time. Lots of sun here at Fenway. It's 88 degrees and sunny in Sarasota.
Well, the sun's a lot warmer down here. It's a cold sun.
It's a cold sun in New England. You're right. That's what it is. Gonzalez will go to work, and here's David Ortiz. Drew the walk, scored on the home run by Ramirez in the first inning. Bottom half of the third here at Fenway. 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Baseball. Be Wei and Chen. Justin Masterson, the scheduled starters in the ball game. 10:30 for Rose Extra, and 11 o'clock for the game on Patriots Day, celebrated in Maine and Massachusetts, and Marathon Day. Boston Marathon Day tomorrow. David Ortiz, 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way, and a ground ball that'll go into that shift. Shortstop Cabrera. He's got him. Ortiz is retired. Hey, not too late to upgrade your sum of the Orioles partial season plans available. Members enjoy exclusive ticket savings, Major League's most flexible exchange policy, access to postseason tickets, and orange carpet benefits. 13 game plans are still available. For details, Orioles.com/season. Ramirez with the 3-run homer, 5 on the year now. 12 RBIs. So productive as they had hoped for their new left fielder. Pitch outside.
Well, let's take a look at the batting for the Red Sox, lefty and righty. As left-handed hitters, 348. That's first in Major League Baseball, but only 2 home runs. That's 22nd or 26th.
Down to third, Machado, outfield grass, knows who's running. Took his time, got set, makes the play.
Nice play right there from Manny Machado. Way back on the grass. And Ramirez a little upset after hitting that 3-run homer. Won another shot. Machado can play so deep at third base, like any other third baseman. That strong arm.
That'll bring Napoli up. Napoli called out on strikes, taking a little while to get in. Wants to give his pitcher a little more time on the bench here. So that's why he's kind of fiddle-faddling around at the plate. Quick outs. And Gonzalez got a chance for another 1-2-3 inning. We were talking about his wanting to limit pitches here and have a couple of quick innings. Maybe he's going to do it. Strike to Napoli.
And now with Napoli up, we showed that graph about the left-handed hitters hitting for such great average. Well, the right-handed hitters for the Sox struggling. Napoli, one of those righties, they're hitting right at 200, but that's where all the power is. And we saw Ramirez with now 5 home runs for the Red Sox. Pedroia's got a few, and Betts adding a couple. So the power numbers from the right side, but the average way up there from the left-handed hitters.
Napoli, strikeout victim first time up, down on the count here 0-2. He's out there meandering around, not supposed to be out of the batter's box. He's going to get a letter. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Whoa. You talk about an axe base hit. He went up and chopped on that one, and he's got himself a 2-out single.
And he is safe at first. He got there. That was pretty impressive. Caleb Joseph wanting the high fastball just to change the eye level. And how do you hit a pitch over your head? Got to try to keep that bat head above the hands, and he does. He'll take that hit any way you can get it.
So Napoli is on. That'll be hit number 3 for the Red Sox. 2 down. Sandoval drew a walk his first time up, facing Gonzalez for the first time in his career. Miguel's pitch to him will be there for a strike. Susan White's going to be running in the marathon tomorrow. She is the niece of Jim Henneman, the longtime Oriole reporter and writer and good friend. Clint, her husband's on hand. Jack, Ella, Chloe, the children. They're all here at the ball game today. Bob and Kathleen, the parents. Megan, her sister. All watching the game and all here to support Susan. Good luck, Susan, tomorrow. That'll be handled at first base. Good play by Davis, and that'll do it for Sandoval. No runs on 1 hit, no errors. 1 left on base. Mike and I will be running the. No, we won't.
Park. Adam Jones gets it going. It's a rocket shot. It got out of Fenway Park in a hurry. But Ramirez answers back. 3-run blast in the first inning off Miguel Gonzalez. Get the Red Sox the lead, but Ryan Flaherty, who's from New England, front of his friends and family, ties it up with a solo shot to straightaway center field. A tie ball game. Remember, Geico 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
They can't bring the coffee in fast enough for this one. 0-1 count. Travis Snyder. Snyder's strikeout victim his first time up. Just checking, the wind chill is 43. Temperature is 48.
Oof. Thanks for telling me. Man. Cold.
Nice summer day here in Maine. Oh, we're not in Maine. That'll be foul back and out of play. If you're wondering why Patriots Day is only celebrated in Maine and Massachusetts.
And I was.
It's because at the time of Paul Revere's ride and Concord and Lexington, Maine was part of Massachusetts.
Of course.
You knew that.
Thank you for clarifying that for everybody else.
I think you almost got killed by a piece of paper flying there. Strikeout is recorded. Porcello's starting to pile those up. He's got 6 in the ball game, 1 down here in the 4th inning. That's 2 on Snyder, 1 swinging and 1 called.
Yeah, that one, the two-seamer bringing it back over the inside corner. Real good pitch. Porcello.
Manny Machado. Little breaking ball right there. That one is in there for a strike. Porcello settling in, throwing more strikes here. 63 pitches, 39 strikes so far. Another one that had a bend on it. That's going to catch the inside corner. Manny's been upset both of the at-bats. He got called out on strikes first time up. Wasn't happy with it. And he certainly wasn't happy with that call.
Yeah, he didn't like the breaking ball. Pretty good one. No good location. He might have thought it was a little inside.
0-2 the count, 1 down. Machado and then Flaherty due up for the Orioles here in the 4th inning. Porcello's ready to go, and Manny's moving around in the batter's box. Inside to him. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Porcello works quick. Some of the Oriole hitters have tried to delay that windup a little bit. Ground ball towards the middle. That should be a base hit, and it is. So Manny is on with a single, an infield single, with 1 down. Let's see if the Orioles can make some hay with it. Here's our PNC minor league report. Nolan Reimold.
Yeah, Nolan Reimold had himself a great spring training, and he's getting off to a good start in Norfolk. Batting .308, already has a home run, a couple doubles, 2 RBI, and 3 stolen bases. He's riding a 6-game hit streak, so proving that he's healthy, and he can certainly produce when he is.
Now with a runner on at first base, Orioles have their 6th hit. Flaherty just walloped one over the 379 mark near the Green Monster in the center field area. His first time up, getting his 2nd home run of the season. For the Orioles, 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors. The Red Sox, 3 runs on just 3 hits and no errors. That's kind of the way this series has gone through the first 2 games and so far in this one. The Orioles have out-hit the Red Sox, but the Red Sox have been able to score almost as many runs. And the pitch way inside to him from Porcello, and a 2-0 count.
Yeah, Orioles, a lot of opportunities, and I think that's all you can really hope for. And then you want that big hit to come through, and they just haven't really been able to take advantage, that big blast to create that separation when they needed to. Chris Davis, of course, the home run late in the game yesterday to give the Orioles that 4-1 lead.
Runner going that time, as they sent Manny Machado on a hit and run. You could tell he looked back to see what Flaherty was doing at the plate.
Yeah, nice call here. Manny Machado doesn't have to be a great jump. Get a couple strides and then peek in. Recognize the ball fouled off. The reason you look in like that, and typically base stealers should do that even when they're trying to steal a base, so they don't get doubled up. They know where the ball is at all times. You don't slow down one bit when you glance in.
2 ball, 1 strike count. Runner not going here. That is a fair ball. No. First base umpire saying foul, Andy Fletcher. It looked fair, and certainly Napoli thought it was fair. He stepped on the bag and then was going to try and get the tag out at second base. And here comes John Farrell. He wants to have a look at this.
Inside pitch, chopping it down the line. And when Napoli goes over, he possibly may have shielded first base umpire out of view. Is it foul? He doesn't waste any time.
Tough one there, as the home plate umpire has a call until the ball gets to the bag, but sometimes needs help from the first base umpire. And these fair or foul calls are kind of controversial. See, Flaherty's having a discussion with Paul Emmel, the home plate umpire. Fair or foul is only reviewable if it's in the outfield, if it's at or behind the umpire. It's not reviewable on an infield call.
Well, he's right there. He's in a good position, so trust his judgment.
So Flaherty, 2-ball, 2-strike count, gets another shot at it. Will go down the line. That will end up foul. And that's not by much, even though it goes into the seats and back out again, because that foul line is so close to the stands down there in left field. You see, there's not a lot of room between that foul line and the wall. That was close to being fair.
Just a couple feet separating that foul line from the wall there. So Ryan Flaherty going coast to coast. A couple of foul balls.
Machado the lead at first. One away. Runner goes. Pitch in. No throw. So it's a stolen base. Manny Machado taking off twice here during this at bat of Flaherty.
Yeah, here we go. Pretty good jump from Manny. The quick glance back in. Leone, who has quite a success rate. He doesn't catch it clean. Catches it off the heel and it rolls to the end of the glove, so not a good transfer.
And a ball 4 in the dirt. First walk surrendered by Porcello, and Flaherty is on. So the Orioles get runners at first and second with one out. Manny's now 2 for 2 in stealing bases this year. And the Orioles, as a ball club, get their 4th stolen base in 6 chances. And Joseph gets another shot with a runner in scoring position. Caleb came up with a hard hit single in the second inning to center field. 6-game hit streak for him. Now the Orioles a chance to get the lead back with only 1 away. Infield will play for 2.
That's the pitch Porcello wants. That sinker riding in on the hands of Caleb Joseph. One thing that Caleb has done so well here while he rides this hitting streak is keep his hands inside the baseball. Really hard to do when you have a sinker baller like Porcello. But if anybody can, Caleb can. He picked up that first base hit with the line drive back through the middle.
Hitting .387 now with a home run and 4 RBIs. Runners off first and second for the Orioles, and the pitch will miss inside. So Caleb will work the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Orioles here in this series coming into the game were 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position. Outside, the Orioles still hitting above 300 in these situations on the year. They're .312 batting average, 4th in the American League. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Porcello having a longer inning than that third, where he got back to being a bit efficient. The Orioles forcing the issue here. 76 pitches now thrown by Porcello. 2-1 delivery, and Joseph takes it, and it's down low. This is what happens when you start hitting. All of a sudden, pitchers are less willing to find a sweet spot in the strike zone.
Well, you got that right. They can't really be aggressive in the zone. They're trying to, Porcello especially here, mixing up his pitches, working the perimeter, trying to leave balls off the heart of the plate because the ones that are there are getting whacked.
3 ball, 1 strike count. Joseph will foul that one over towards first at the Red Sox dugout and out of play. So the count goes 3-2, 1 away. You got Manny Machado at second base and Ryan Flaherty at first. So fans, be a manager. You want to send these guys with 1 down, 3-2 or not?
No, you do not. You do not want to, and I know you're asking the fans, but I'm going to make a little comment.
Well, you're a fan.
Well, you don't want to. A line drive and would be a serious rally killer, in this type of situation. Man, he's out there already in scoring position.
There go the runners. Here's the throw to third. They're going to get it. No slide, tagged out. No sooner top. I take it back. It was ball 4.
There you go.
Home plate umpire DeArm coming up there, but not the call. And now John Farrell's on his way out. So Caleb Joseph has loaded him up. The Orioles, Porcello had not walked anybody, and now has walked 2 in a row here in the 4th inning.
Yeah, he's having some problems with his command, and I think you mentioned it. The offense, can sometimes scare a pitcher out of the zone, and right now trying to work the perimeter, falling behind, and he's in some trouble again. His pitch count is up. It's to 79 pitches, and bases loaded with 1 out. It's a big time jam as the lineup turns itself over.
You can text Masson's word of the day, conditioning, to 29292. Your chance for a meet and greet with Buck Showalter, presented by Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, who encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. So the bases are loaded. Cabrera has grounded out and struck out. Sandoval will still be on the grass at third. The pitch will be taken inside for a ball. The Orioles had bases loaded opportunities in the ballgame yesterday. At the 4th inning, they got a couple of runs on 5 hits after they had loaded them up with 1 away. In the 5th inning, they loaded them up with nobody out and did not score a run. Porcello's 1-0 pitch. Grounder back to the mound. The plate. 1. Relay first. Double play. Well, they don't score here either. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, couple left on base. It remains a 3-3 ball game. Book your low fare now at Southwest.com. And by Royal Farms. Check out our current specials by going to RoyalFarms.com today. Gary Thornton, Mike Bordick here at Fenway Park. 3-3 ball game. Game 3 of this 4-game set on the cool, chilly day. Paul Emmel, the home plate umpire, has had to leave the field. So we're going to have a bit of a delay here. I don't know why. And Jerry Meals, crew chief, came over to talk with Buck Showalter. We just hope Paul Emmel's all right. This is where he was leaving.
Limping a little bit.
Yeah. So Paul Emmel on his way out, which means if in fact he's out of the game, Jerry Meals will have to make a decision on who's going to go behind the plate, the crew chief. We don't know that he's out of the game.
Sometimes Buck can have some.
If there's any way to extend the time of games for these two teams,
yeah.
It'll be found. These two play some of the most, well, it's the American League East. It's just grinded out ball games end up getting played in the American League East. It started that way, the Orioles, with this long run of games that they've got to play here against the American League East to start the year. Same thing, the Red Sox are going to play 22 against the East. There's just something about these games that carries with it the tradition of long innings and hard outs and tight games.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Red Sox and Yankees notorious for taking a lot of pitches. Red Sox are doing it again this year. They've seen more pitches than any other team in the game. They try to grind out at bats. Their philosophy is try to get that starting pitcher out of there, and they've done a pretty good job of that, obviously, to this point. But, yeah, the games take forever. I mean, these games are so crucial.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in a division, you're trying to win that division, you know, every pitch matters. And these guys take it seriously. So if you have to take a minute to catch your breath or walk around the mound or concentrate and have conviction on each pitch, they're going to do that.
How do you feel? Buck Showalter thinks that there are too many games, 19, played against division opponents. He would rather see that spread out. In fact, he would like a balanced schedule where everybody plays everybody the same number of times. His argument being, aren't we all after the same thing? We're trying to win a World Series, yet we end up with seasons that are different in terms of the opponents. From a player's perspective, too many games in the division?
Well, yeah, I think so, too. I think when you want that ideal competitive balance, you need to make it the same for everybody. And unfortunately, with all the mixing up with the interleague play, I think some teams have to play some tougher teams than others. So there isn't a fair competitive balance, and Buck would like to see that. And I think players would, too. I think when you face teams in your division as many times as you have to, 19 games,
yeah,
it tends to be quite a bit. I mean, there are obviously no secrets. There aren't any secrets anymore anyway, but, you know, to have that many games against one team in your division seems to be quite a lot. But I guess rivalries get built that way and makes it more intense. But it also just makes the meaning of every pitch and every play that much more important.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to talk to the fans within the divisions as to how they feel about that. I wonder whether fans would enjoy seeing more players of other teams playing more often, or, as you say, does the rivalry justify it from a fan's perspective, where sometimes things can get really interesting because animosities are built up because of games that go on in the season and the number of times you face them. I don't know where, if you had a vote by fans, where that'd come down.
Yeah, I think they appreciate the fact that they can see other teams from other leagues. I think fans in general like the interleague play, but there should be a better way to balance it all out without so many games within the division. Although, you know, when you get into September and it's just your division you're going up against,
yeah,
it becomes a pretty important month. And of course, now with the extra wild card and the fact that the interleague games mean so much as well, I think it's a nice combination. I think Major League Baseball's done a nice job to really help promote the game and build fan interest, not only in the United States but everywhere. But they're forgetting that the players and you know, trying to fight for that competitive balance,
yep,
and keep everybody happy. It's hard to do. I think a lot of managers like Buck have pretty good understanding of really what could help, and it would be nice if they could all sit down and really work it out and make it benefit everybody.
What we'll have to do on one of our broadcasts here, we'll get to Buck's schedule. He's got it. He's literally drawn it out, and we'll show you what Buck would do if I had my one day in baseball heading it up as far as the schedule is concerned, because Buck's made a decision on that. We'll get that from him and show it to you someday. All right, we've got a delay here. Paul Emmel, home plate umpire, has gone underneath, and we'll be right back. ball game, and John Tumpane, the second base umpire, is getting equipment on to go behind the plate. While they do that, our Major League Notebook in this state in baseball history. This is a funny one. In 1949, Allie Reynolds hit the only home run he would ever hit in his Major League career. He got to second base. He didn't realize the ball had left the ballpark, and he refused to move off second base because he thought the Senators, the opposing team, were trying to play the hidden ball trick on him. And he wouldn't go off second base until his manager, Bucky Harris, came out of the dugout and convinced him that he'd actually hit a home run. And in 1997, the Cardinals beat the Padres 1-0 at Aloha Stadium in the first Major League Baseball game to be played in Hawaii. All Major League announcers long for the day that there'll be a team in Hawaii and or Cuba, and we'll all vie for that job. So that's what happened on this date in Major League history. They haven't gone back to Hawaii, but they're probably going back to Montreal. There is John Tumpane, who's put the equipment on, so he'll take over. We hope Paul Emmel is okay, having to come out of the ball game. Just didn't look very good as he left. So he'll take. Gonzalez just came out taking a couple of tosses here. He had not thrown prior to change being made regarding the umpires, so he'll get at least his 8 in here if he wants them, and probably even a little more because of the delay. They're waiting until he says he's ready, and he says throw it down and let's go. Ball game tied 3-3 going to the bottom half of the 4th inning. The Orioles proud to join Major League Baseball honoring Jackie Robinson this week. Each player, coach who wore number 42 has autographed that, and those jerseys are available, with the proceeds benefiting the Baltimore Orioles Charitable Foundation and the Jackie Robinson Foundation. The bidding closes Wednesday at 10, so go to Orioles.com/auction and make your bid. So with the delay, there's the number 42 retired here. Red Sox will have Victorino, Bogarts, and Leon due up. Shane Victorino drew a walk his first time up. Gonzalez has walked 3 and struck out 4. Porcello a couple of walks and 6 strikeouts. And the pitch will miss for a ball.
After that tough first inning where he gave up the 3-run homer to Ramirez, he settled in nicely. Getting some ground balls, starting to get better command of all of his pitches, mixing them up consistently.
Inside corner strike taken. Shane Victorino, switch hitter. And the outfield D straight up on him. Broken bat towards the middle. Scooped up. Cabrera, the throw. Not quite. He's going to go to second base. Davis may have a play. Throw down to second is there, but his outside slide gets him in. So Victorino on second base. Buck Showalter asking for a moment. He's going to have his video replay official take a look at it.
Take a look at Cabrera making the fine play up the middle. Strong throw. Chris Davis can't come up with it. It's back to the ball. Another good throw. Victorino going to that back corner safely.
Now there was a case, Mike, I think, where you saw where Ryan Flaherty was covering. He was trying to give Davis a target, right? So he came to the inside of the bag.
Yeah, try to create a lane. That's what you want to do, especially first baseman throwing out to second base, and that just gives a base runner a chance to find that corner that's exposed, and Victorino does right there.
So the Red Sox got a runner on at second base. We'll wait for the scoring on that. With Victorino now in scoring position with nobody out, and Bogarts, a strikeout victim, will come to the plate. An interesting situation on that play. They're going to charge an error on Cabrera.
Tough error there.
Yeah. Close play at first base. Gonzalez now, they hold the runner close. Bogarts to be followed by Leon. He'll go to short. Runner's got to stay. Cabrera's got this one, and there's an unproductive out. They do not get the runner moved up. One down. Obviously, Buck did not choose to challenge there on anything. There really wasn't anything to challenge.
No, he clearly safe all the way around. You may want to go out there and tell Chris Davis to pick that ball out of dirt, but
yeah,
he didn't want to challenge the play.
So one down, runner remains at second base. Leon, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Cabrera will hold the runners. They play him to pull. Gonzalez outside with it for a ball. 5 runs scored in the first inning. Orioles tied it up in the second on the home run by Flaherty. Then the pitchers have taken over for the last couple of innings. Now Victorino representing a potential go-ahead run on at second base. Gonzalez, the 1-0 delivery. That will ride outside. And Leon gets ahead on the count here, 2-0. Talk about the tightness in the American League East. Certainly started out that way. Boston 7-4 on top. The Yankees 5-6 on the bottom. Not much of a difference. 2-0 delivery. That's a strike. Orioles in second, 6-5. Both Tampa Bay, Toronto are 6-6. And the Yankees only one game behind those two at 5-6. Yankees winning again today at Tampa Bay 5-2. They're halfway through that game. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Foul back, reach for it. Right off the end of the bat. Cued it, and the count goes 2-2.
Nice split finger right there from Miguel Gonzalez. Leon just able to get a piece of that, but it was diving out of the zone. You see the 4th pitch there. But it looked like it was coming right back to the spot where the fastball was, but that good movement on the split finger runs it off the plate now at Gonzalez's advantage.
Leon, prior to this season, had played in only 34 major league games. 189 average. Not a lot of at bats, of course, only a 95. 2-ball, 2-strike delivery by Gonzalez, and just keeps the at bat alive in a foul tip. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Shane Victorino, who never tires of talking, and I say that smiling. Great guy. It's so outgoing. When he was with the Phillies, he used to drive Charlie Manuel crazy. Manuel made him sit at the other end of the dugout when he wasn't playing. The 2-2 delivery on the way, and that one's fouled back. Gonzalez challenging him. And the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I figured he swung at the high fastball, went right back at it. Was able to get a piece. Now it's split finger time.
Two and 2. Not a big leadoff second with Cabrera holding the runner. The long look and the delivery, and that's away. So a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Leon, the number 9 hitter. Holt, right now their hottest hitter in the lineup, waiting on deck in the leadoff spot.
Don't mess around too much here with Leon.
3-2 delivery on the way to him, and he fouls it back. A tough at bat for him here. Already 8 pitches thrown in this at bat to Leon. As Mike mentioned earlier, Red Sox have seen more pitches than any other team in the majors, averaging almost 4.2 pitches per plate appearance. So Gonzalez has got to come 3-2 again. Victorino off second, and a look back.
Which is fine. I like to see that out of a pitcher. No intent to pick him off, but let the base runners know you're not forgetting about them. A lot of times pitchers can get into a routine and forget about base runners. They can steal bases. That's what the Red Sox have done this year.
And he walked him. So Gonzalez surrenders his 4th walk, an error and a walk. Have put runners on at first and second here in the 4th inning. And Holt will be coming to the plate.
Yeah, Buck shaking his head right there. Why walk the number 9 hitter? Unproven bat at the major league level. Don't waste any time. Stay aggressive with him. turn this lineup over. The hot hitters at the top of this Red Sox lineup. All up over 500.
Holt is 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position on the year. 2 on, 1 down. Single, run scored, and he is struck out. He came on and crossed the plate in the first inning. Ramirez had a 3-run homer for the Red Sox, scoring Holt and Ortiz, who had walked ahead of him. Those are the Red Sox runs. 1-0 count, 1 down. And he takes that to left field, right at Delman Young. He's got it. So a big out. That's second out of the inning. Take a look at the Orioles' upcoming schedule, brought to you by Mile One Automotive, offering you 20 convenient locations throughout the Baltimore area. Visit them in store or online at mile1.com.
11 o'clock game, 11 a.m. It's the Red Sox tomorrow. Then on to Toronto. 3-night game, 7 o'clock. Back home to face the Red Sox at Camden, staying within the division.
2 down. Gonzalez trying to work his way out of this. Has Betts, who is 0 for 2. He has flied out and grounded out. 3 for 12 with a home run, with runners in scoring position so far in the year for Mookie Betts. Gets away, runners stay. Joseph kept it in front of him. Caleb's caught all 3 of the first games in this series, so LaVarnway, I guess, will get the 11 o'clock tomorrow start.
Yeah, I kind of thought LaVarnway might be catching today, but Buck Showalter feeling confident with Caleb. There's a look at Ryan LaVarnway, one-time Red Sox hero.
Gonzalez, the 1-0 delivery to him. Good movement on that one. Letting him go after a pitch, down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike count.
Good slider. Nice hard slider. He's been able to locate that pitch very well to the righties.
Gonzalez has worked with not a lot of runs last year. This year 4 runs scored in his 2 starts prior to this one. 1-1. Secondary lead a little too big by Victorino, and Gonzalez steps off to get him back. Tough to hold Victorino tight here as Flaherty has that job, but they don't want to give Betts room on that right side between first and second, so Flaherty has to get out of there in a hurry and get back. That ball pounded down the line, right field. Snyder coming over. He's going to get there, and he will put it away. Those balls to right are going nowhere. No runs, an error, a walk, 2 are left on base, and it remains a 3-3 ball game. Doing some dancing in this one. Jones in the first inning delivers the long ball out of the ballpark. 5th home run, 2 RBI. Ryan Flaherty's 2nd home run of the year, solo shot in the 2nd inning. The 3 runs to the Orioles, and Oriole fans on hand are liking that. Ball game's tied at 3. Rick Porcello with a couple of walks and 6 strikeouts in the ball game. Got out of that 4th inning with a big double play. Paredes, Jones, and Davis will be due up here in the 5th inning against him. Paredes single, scored in the 1st inning, flied out to right in the 3rd. Designated hitter for the Orioles. Paredes, switch hitter, joining the club yesterday. Ball to the backstop, showed bunt. Sandoval was in and was charging.
Like that, though. Keep him in there. A lot of hitters that just show the bunt. I like to keep that infield in, suck him in a little bit, and maybe try to slap a ball by him.
Oof. Got that one into right field for a base hit. Victorino and hold him to a single will as he gets it back in. How about Paredes? He's rejoined the ball club with a hot bat, and he's got a couple of hits in this game.
And only 4 ABs on his rehab assignment. Already 4 hits in his 2 games. Hits on the inside offering and just drives it down that right field line. Beautiful swing from Paredes.
And the Orioles get the leadoff man on for the first time in the ball game. Porcello very good at not allowing that to happen. 86% retiring leadoff batters through the first 2 starts this year. And Adam Jones back up. Adam with a home run in the 1st, his 5th, 2 RBIs, 9-game hit streak. He struck out in the 3rd, and he will take the pitch up and in. That was his first home run against Porcello. Now 5 hits and 26 at bats against the Red Sox starter. Not a big lead at first. Jones rips another one. Hard hit single. Ramirez up with it, and the Orioles get the first 2 on here in the 5th inning. He is just stinging the baseball.
He sure is. I mean, great swing, seeing the ball well. His timing is perfect, and squaring it up. So he can get that foot down. A mistake pitch as it leaks back over the inside corner, and he isn't missing right now. And he's going through it. Porcello lucky that wasn't another home run off the bat of Jones.
So now the Red Sox will shift but stay in double play positioning. Davis had a double his last time up. Chris 1 for 2 has been called out on strikes. Davis has now had a hit in 4 in a row. Porcello's pitch to him will be way outside for a ball. Orioles now with 8 hits in the ball game off Porcello. During the 4-game hit streak for Davis, he's had 6 hits, 15 at bats, home run, 5 RBIs during the streak, 7 on the year. And that ball's going to go to the shift. Second base, there's one, relay over and not in time. They could not turn 2 on that. That was Bogarts, the shortstop, who was making the pivot at second base, having to go in the other direction than he's used to. They get the force out. Over to third base goes Paredes.
Yeah, pretty tough turn when a defense is in the shift. John Farrell going out to make sure that Chris Davis was indeed safe at first base. Davis hustling down the line there to beat it out. Of course, on the front end of that, Adam Jones going in hard at second base.
So now the Orioles a scoring chance. Runners on at first and third, and only 1 out. And Delman Young 0 for 2. He is popped out and grounded out. Stand in against Porcello. Again, Porcello, the ground ball pitcher, looking for another double play ground ball. Pitch taken inside for ball 1.
A lot of pitches up in the zone today from Porcello. Not as consistent as we've seen him in the past. The Orioles will take advantage of a few of those mistakes.
Ooh, that just got away up and over the head of Delman Young. Orioles 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position today. Delman had one of those chances in the third inning. Davis had delivered a double. Now again a visit to the mound here. See whether or not Porcello is all right. A couple of pitches that were all over the place. On the Aves, the pitching coach. 89 pitches thrown by Porcello so far.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy either. Orioles offense have been making him work that first inning, giving up the 2-run shot, and then in the fourth, He was in that big jam, helped himself with the 1-2-3 double play. But, you know, those tough innings really add up on a pitcher mentally and physically as the pitch count rises. Here, just a little breather in a tough situation. Let him regroup a little bit. And Nieves reminding him not to overthrow. You know, stay within yourself. I think trying to get a little bit too much done right now, and he's really missed badly to fall behind at Delmon Young.
Threw 101 pitches in his first start, 112 in the second. 2-0 delivery to Young, and that's inside, not close. That's 3 in a row that have been well off the mark. And Delmon Young with first and third and only one away. Will he have a green light here? Snyder waiting on deck. Runners off first and third, taken all the way, not close. So that's the third walk surrendered by Porcello in the ball game, and that's going to load the bases. Down to second base goes Davis. Joe Brady's already over at third base, and Young on at first. And Snyder, bases loaded.
He had that big double play, getting Cabrera. Going to bounce back to him to get out of the big inning there in the fourth when the Orioles were threatening here. Travis Snyder, a big opportunity to really break this game open. A little separation.
Boy, this game is a lot like yesterday's. It was the fourth and fifth inning yesterday when the Orioles loaded the bases. We said they got the 2 runs in the fourth, none in the fifth. They're doing the same thing here. They loaded them up fourth and fifth innings today. They didn't get anything in the fourth. See what they can do with it here in the fifth. Porcello with the 0-1 delivery, and that one's going to go towards right field. Play's going to be at first. It's a race, sliding. He is safe. It'll be an infield hit and an RBI. Paredes has scored. Napoli came off the bag, the first baseman, to try and play it. He had no chance of getting back. Then Holt had a race as Porcello, the pitcher, had no chance to get there. And it'll be an infield hit RBI.
A pretty heady play by Holt to try to get over there. It's one of those defensive plays, and we've talked about the Orioles, how they practice to keep the first baseman, the discipline to not bite on that ball to a first baseman's right. And there it cost the Red Sox as Travis Snyder hustling in. You see Holt trying to slide in to get that corner. I'll tell you what, you get a hitter that sniffs out a base hit, he's going to run a little bit faster.
Bases remain loaded. Ball drilled to center field. It's diving. They make the catch at the plate. Davis coming. Throw not in time. So Manny Machado delivers a sacrifice fly and an RBI on a hard hit ball to Mookie Betts in center. The Orioles get another run and a 5-3 lead.
Nice piece of hitting right there from Manny Machado. Some good situational hitting in the last few days. Squaring up the baseball. Here gets a pitch elevated, drives it to center field. Bad luck hitting it right to Betts, but a nice tag right there by Chris Davis. Head down. The score easily for Machado.
So Snyder picking up the first RBI here in the inning, his 7th of the season, and Manny Machado picks up his 5th. Now there are runners at first and second. There are 2 down. And here's Ryan Flaherty. He will take it inside. Flaherty a homer and a walk, his 2nd home run. Came in the 2nd inning with 2 down, drew a free pass and was stranded in the 4th inning.
Well, Ryan Flaherty, who has great success here at Fenway Park. Nice take right there. Kept everything quiet. A good slider from Porcello.
That one put up in the air to left field. Ramirez comes in and puts it away. But the Orioles will pick up a couple of runs. They do it on 3 hits and leave 2. 5-3 lead for the Orioles. These are the numbers coming into today.
Yeah, this season, American League average 4.80, and Miguel Gonzalez and Bud Norris not being helped very much by their offense. See Miguel at 2.84, Norris 3.38. Tillman, Ubaldo, and Wei-Yin Chen, that offense is clicking for them, so might help them feel comfortable. But today, Miguel Gonzalez getting a lot of run support as the Orioles put 5 up on the board, and that might help him settle in a little bit more and maybe able to eke out a couple more innings.
5-9-1 the Orioles, 3-4-0 the Red Sox. David Ortiz, a walk, a run scored, and he is grounded out. The Orioles getting right where they want to have him, leading off an inning. He led off the 3rd inning on the ground ball out. Now he leads off again here in the 5th. Still looking for his first hit against Gonzalez. Lifetime 0 for 7 off the Orioles right-hander. But Ryan Flaherty, if he gets a ground ball, he's going to have to heave it. He's a long way. He's a long way out there in right field.
Yeah, he's going to have to do the crow hop like outfielders do to get him back in.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Ortiz on a check swing. Did he go? Yep. Jerry Meals down to 3rd, and here's Ortiz again. And boy, the home plate umpire is not real happy. He's told him to pick and threw him out of the game. Good for him. John Tumpane has thrown Ortiz out for showing up the umpire. He took a long look down to 3rd. He dropped his bat in the batter's box, and he should have been thrown out.
Yeah, better be careful.
Farrell out to argue.
Obviously not liking the call, but when you drop your bat at home plate, put your hands on your hip, really disrespecting and showing up an umpire. The home plate umpire did do the right thing. Take a look. Poppy, the leg kick, checks the swing. Oh no, check swing called on me again. Are you kidding me? Drops his bat right there, and then the home plate umpire tells him to check himself a little bit. That's all he wants to hear about that.
Well, we talk about players standing up for one another. There's a case where an umpire is standing up for another one. Because it was Jerry Meals on the check swing at 3rd, but his home plate umpire immediately took the mask off after Ortiz dropped that bat and stood there with his hands on his hips. So Ortiz is out of there. It's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Somebody's going to have to pick that up. John Farrell will have to have a new DH coming into the ball game for Ortiz.
Yeah, here it is, 5th inning. Team's down by 2. One of the biggest left-handed bats in the game. One of the best clutch performers in the game. Now with the exit. So advantage Orioles, and unfortunate for the Red Sox. Big Poppy out of there, and manager John Farrell now having a shorter bench. It's like Nava getting his gear on to try to finish up this at bat.
Daniel Nava's got to put the pads on there in the arm, and meanwhile Gonzalez will take some warm-up tosses. I'm looking over to see Buck Showalter and how long he's going to stay calm.
Yeah, taking too much time in there. Let's go. Be prepared for these situations.
See Buck irritated about the delay here while his pitcher's got to stand out there and wait. I don't know what you'd do with that. I guess it'd be very hard to try and have somebody actually really ready to come out.
Yeah.
For somebody thrown out of a game, you're not really prepared for that.
And I think, typically managers understand that. Now the problem is, okay, you get the player on the field. Is the player going to take too much time? Because if Nava doesn't, get loose quick enough while he's on the field, then you might hear Buck chirping out there, telling him get going, get in the box. It's a penalty you pay, when the guy gets tossed.
You get 2 minutes for delay a game. You can't hit. So here comes Daniel Nava. Nava will take over the count. Nava an 0 for 4 so far in this series. It's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. That's a tough way to come to the plate.
Yeah.
Got to find your batter's eye in a hurry. It's the first batter of the inning, so Gonzalez is and hanging around. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Nava will go after it. It'll be handled by Manny Machado, and there's a shift that worked. Machado from behind second base will toss him up. One away here in the fifth.
You know, Manny likes that play. Of course, signed as a shortstop, and one day will probably be there, but not for a little while. Ranging up the middle, setting his feet in a strong throw to Chris Davis.
One away here in the fifth. Orioles up 5-3. And that'll bring Ramirez to the plate. 3-run homer in the first inning, his fifth of the year, and then robbed of a hit on a 5-3 putout in the third inning. And a play by Manny Machado. Pitch taken away for a ball. 1-0 count. 84 pitches thrown by Gonzalez so far in the ball game. He's got to get through this inning, obviously, in order to be the pitcher of record for the Orioles. Outside on the overthrow. And a 2-0 count on Ramirez. Ramirez home run, the first hit he picked up in this series. He is 1 for 9 against the Orioles.
They pitched him so well. Just the one mistake back in the first inning, the fastball center cut that he hammered.
The 12 RBIs now. He's tied for the lead in runs batted in. 12 on the season. Gonzalez delivery to him outside. Devin Travis with Toronto started the day with 12, in first place in the American League. And Adam Jones, of course, moving up in that department with the 2 he's picked up. He's got 13. So he's moved ahead of them, at least for the moment, depending on what happens here today. 3-ball, 1-strike count, 1 away. And he hits it hard up the middle. Played by Jones. Ramirez, he's on at the plate, and 1 on, 1 out. Beginning on Monday, April 27th, the Orioles host the White Sox in 3-game series. Good seats remain for each night, including Tuesday's Ollie's Bargain Night, presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet, when all upper reserves are only $10 when purchased in advance. Get your Birdland summer started. For tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Mike Napoli, a base hit, called out on strikes. Ramirez on with a base hit. That's the 5th hit for Boston off Gonzalez.
Well, that base hit Napoli got off Gonzalez was about a foot over his head. He able to stay on top of it and pick up the knot, bring his average up to 150. And I don't know if the scouting report's going to say don't pitch Napoli up over his head, but you do have to be careful with Napoli. He is a very dangerous hitter.
Gonzalez will miss outside to him. Napoli a couple of hits, 9 at bats. Lifetime off Gonzalez. 2-0 count, 1 down. Only a 2-run differential in the way the home runs affected this ball game. One swing of the bat by either team, and the runs go up quickly. Gonzalez, the 2-0 delivery to him, and that will be there for a strike.
Napoli not liking the called strikes on the outside corner to him throughout this series. Pitch catching all the plate.
Only 3 umpires working now, with Paul Emmel, the plate umpire who started the game, having to leave. It'll be in the dirt. Joseph will stop it and hold the runner at first base. And count will go to 3-1. Orioles bullpen, nobody's throwing, but they are starting to move around down there. Gonzalez asking for the new baseball.
Well, not as locked in as he was in his last start against the Yankees, where he picked up that career high 10 punch outs, but this is what he's all about. Maybe not the best stuff today, but you battle, you grind your way through, and you hope your offense picks you up a little bit, as they have done today.
3-1 delivery on the way. Napoli was looking for one to drive, and the location prevented that. 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, real good one. Four-seamer, just dots it on the outside corner. Painted out there, knowing that Napoli, not feeling comfortable with the calls that have been out there, so why not stay on that edge and see if he chases.
Count goes 3-2. Only one out. Ramirez, not a big lead at first base. Runner not going, and Napoli will swing through it. So Gonzalez has 5 strikeouts, and there are 2 down here in the 5th.
All 3 of his strikes he picks up with the fastball away. Beautiful pitch here. Napoli swinging through it to get that second out. See the big cut. Look at this.
So Sandoval coming up with 2 down. Infield shifting around again. Sandoval getting his average and his hits, as we've said, from this side of the plate. He has walked and grounded out so far in the ballgame. Delivery to him by Gonzalez. Big cut. That'll be foul back. All the great seasons with the San Francisco Giants. 294 career average coming into this year. That's a big number. 106 home runs put up in his career. The only other team he played for at the major league level, those Giants.
Got some hardware from playing over there, right?
Yeah, championship seasons. Up the middle. Oh my gosh, he knocks it down. Gonzalez makes the play. I think he got that with the glove, because it looks like he is all right. Right back at him. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base, defending his position. Right there with the glove. Knocks it down. Sandoval retired.
Travis Snyder, bases are loaded. Orioles looking to break this open. Infield hit. Nobody covering. Holt trying to get over there, but Snyder puts it into high gear. It's in there safely, and the Orioles get that 5-3 lead.
So Rick Porcello going back to work. This could be his final inning. Here in the 6th, he's thrown 96 pitches. Red Sox bullpen is active. Caleb Joseph will lead it off against him. And the off-speed breaking ball for a strike. Caleb's had a base hit. He has walked. 6-game hit streak now for the Oriole catcher. He's had a couple of RBIs in this series. Ooh-ah! Down to first base he goes.
Breaking ball just backs up, flies open too soon. Wanted that pitch hard down and away. It flies open too quickly and leaves it on Caleb Joseph's elbow pad.
Rick Porcello had 4 hit batters last year. That's the first one this year. The Orioles get the leadoff man on. Shows bunt, drops it. Will it stay fair? You better play it. Hum, baby, hum! Whoa! Fair ball! Picked up by Sandoval while it was on the chalk. What a bunt put down by Cabrera. And Sandoval felt if he didn't play that, Joseph was going to end up at third base.
Well, that was the key to this. Now, great bunt here by Cabrera, and Sandoval thinking, okay, don't have a play on Cabrera. Let's let it go foul. But he looks up, and Caleb is flying around second base and immediately puts the brakes on right when Sandoval picks it up. So heady base running by Caleb and forced Sandoval to pick that one up.
So the Orioles get the first two on here in the sixth inning. They had the first two on in the fifth inning and scored a couple of runs on 3 hits. Now get another shot at it here. Brady's coming up. Already 2 singles, 2 runs scored. He's 2 for 3, 4 for 8 in the series. Red Sox will play bunt in at the corners. And he lines it. That's going to be a base hit into center field. Mookie Betts. Runner will have to stop at third. Caleb Joseph, he had to wait on that, hesitate, and it was hit so hard probably couldn't move anyway, and Paredes is putting on a show. A 3-hit ball game for him, and the Orioles load him up.
Wow, he looks really good. I mean, this is a bullet right back up the middle, the sinker down and away. Great position, and it is whistled out there. Hit so hard, Bobby Dickerson has to hold Caleb Joseph up.
Orioles had 13 hits in the ball game yesterday. They've got 11 hits in the ball game today, and for the third time they've loaded the bases. Breslow up in the bullpen for Boston. They've loaded the bases each of the last 3 innings against Porcello. And Adam Jones stands in a homer, a single, and a strikeout. Pitch will be outside for a ball. That's a big at bat coming into today's play.
Yeah, it's batting average leaders. Of course, Iglesias off to that good start. But there's Adam Jones, the 415, and he's 2 for 3 with that homer today. So that'll be
that one hit in the air. That is deep towards that well in the Green Monster, and it's going to take a hit halfway up. 2 have already scored. Third one's going to try. Relay throw off the mark. A double. No play at the plate. He clears it. A bases loaded double by Adam Jones, and the Orioles have a 7-3 lead.
Swinging at him. The Green Monster to clear the bases. Beautiful offensive approach here. Adam Jones staying red hot, putting the pressure on the starting pitcher. Once again, tries to get it in there under the hands, but Jones clears the hips, whistling it off the tin. Nice play by Betts. It almost got over his head. Everybody in safely.
And that will be it for Porcello. So the Orioles Red Sox series continues in this ball game with offense. Orioles up 8-3.
Putting the Thunder on 12 hits, 8 runs, all of them earned. Adam Jones just clearing the bases there. So starting pitcher out of the ball game. And now it's time for the Jiffy Lube pitching change. It's time for a little relief for your car too. Visit Jiffy Lube for regular oil changes and help prevent damage and wear to your engine. Jiffy Lube. Drive in today. Well, Craig Breslow coming out of this pen. His third year with the Red Sox, had a really good year in 2013. Last year, not so good. 64% fastball. You see the breaking ball usage and a good change. Has a 4-pitch mix. Nothing on the board this year, so off to a good start. Really aggressive in the zone. Last year, though, some command problems. That was the issue. They're hoping he can bounce back. Put up the numbers like he did in 2013.
Adam Jones, 5 RBI day on at second base. Davis up. Chris has not had a hit in 12 at-bats against Breslow, the left-hander. For Adam Jones, that equals a career high. The third time in his career he has had a 5 RBI ball game, and he'll probably get one more shot to increase that here in this game as we are in the 6th inning. 3 runs in so far with a bases loaded double by Jones. On the way to Davis, punches that one outside of third base, and there'll be no play on that, and Breslow will get ahead of him on a 2-strike count. Inning started when Porcello hit Caleb Joseph, and then the great bunt by Cabrera. Paredes followed with a sharp single, and that led to the bases loaded double, and the Orioles 8 runs on 12 hits. Jones getting a good secondary lead at second base. And Davis will swing through that one. So Breslow comes on and gets the strikeout.
Gets ahead, and one of his qualities, Breslow, when he's on, he's able to mix everything up, changes some pitches and locations, but here up and away to get Chris Davis.
And that will bring up Delman Young. Young's a 2 for 9 off Breslow. Ball game today, 0 for 2 and a walk. Jones off second base, and the pitch will miss inside for a ball. Those 12 hits the Orioles got off Porcello. That equals the most he's ever given up in his career. And that one the other way and foul. The Orioles really getting to him. He'd given up 6 hits against Philly and 4 against the Nationals in his previous 2 starts. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Delman Young, as the Orioles have an 8-3 lead, trying to take game 3 and take the advantage in this series. Breslow's delivery to Young, and that's going to be inside.
Breslow trying to be careful with Delman Young, the open base. Travis Snyder waiting in the wing, so who knows what Delman Young can do to lefties.
Hit 282 off left-handers last year, Delman Young did. A couple of home runs. And he's got himself in a good hitter situation here. 3 ball, 1 strike count with 1 away. Snyder waiting on deck. Breslow may decide he'd just as soon not pitch to Delman Young here. Let's see if he offers one in the strike zone. He did. It'll go to center field. The wind again blowing it in. Jones tagging at second, but he'll stay right where he is. And Young is retired 2 away here in the 6th inning. For every Orioles walk, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 to the March of Dimes. 33 walks, $1,650. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Here is Travis Snyder. Snyder, a base hit, an RBI, has struck out twice. 5th inning, he got his hit in the 7th run batted in. Runner on at second base, and 2 down. Orioles get the bullpen active. Tommy Hunter. Breslow's delivery on the way. That'll be punched down the line. Ramirez over. No play for anybody. Sandoval, Bogarts, Ramirez all closing in on it.
Ramirez a little tentative out there in left field after playing shortstop his whole career. A tough place to make the adjustments. The Green Monster behind you. We've seen some misplays already, and he's had some tough luck out there defensively. Better to go down being aggressive than being tentative, and I'm sure he'll figure that out in left field here.
Adam Jones is all the way in to the plate. Good hustle by Adam. Snyder sitting at .323 to start the season. Trying to get Jones in with another run. There can never be enough in any game, much less here at Fenway. Left-hander's 1-1 delivery to him. May have been upstairs a little bit. Goes after it. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
A little up, but pretty aggressive swing there from Snyder. He's been seeing the ball really well. It was kind of a feel your way through spring training for him, but to start the season, he locked in. He's had great control of his front side, taking some really good swings.
And Snyder will put that one out to left field. Shortstop back. And Bogarts will put it away. So Breslow comes on and quiets the storm. But the Orioles come away with 3 runs on Jones' bases loaded double to take an 8-3 lead. But Ortiz not happy with a check swing call down at third base. He would walk and score a run. 5th inning, he wasn't happy again. Jerry Meals, check swing, dropped the bat. Jerry Meals didn't like it, hollered in. Home plate umpire didn't like it, threw him out. So Ortiz, the DH, out of the game. Did he bump the home plate umpire?
Looked like he may have.
Looked like he did. He may
have to
hear
review
about that
later. Take a look at Miguel Gonzalez's line. It was a battle, but he battled and came out on top. 5 innings of work, gave up the 3 earned runs. The first inning, the tough one, the 3-run home run to Ramirez, but settled in and found his way through and gives way to Tommy Hunter now into the 6th.
Tommy Hunter against Shane Victorino.
See his numbers, 69% fastball usage. He can sink it, he can cut it, he can ride it to the top of the zone about 98. That 14.73 earned run average. A lot of tough luck here in the early going from Tommy Hunter, but still a power arm. And you figure he will settle in and have a solid year, much like he did last year. Started off a little bit slow, but became one of the better right-handers out of the pen.
Victorino's got a 2 for 10 off him lifetime. All fastballs here to start. That one at 93. Victorino has walked, reached on an error. The 3 runs scored by the Red Sox all in the first inning on the 3-run homer by Ramirez. Orioles have spread it out a bit. Pitch on the way, breaking ball. That's a strike call. Orioles got 2 in the first, run in the second, 2 in the fifth, and 3 in the sixth to take the 8-3 lead in the ballgame. Bottom third of the order against Hunter. Victorino waiting on it, and he will foul that one straight back.
Good slider right there. Starts it on the outside corner. It runs off the plate. Victorino chasing, so he's susceptible now to even the inside corner. He's trying to protect so much. You see the fifth pitch. It ended up 4 or 5 inches off the outside corner.
2-2 delivery on the way to him, and that ball popped up. Third base, Manny Machado, Joseph. A nice play. Caleb Joseph going over and making the catch before having to lean over the wall. He gets the out. Victorino's retired.
Now, fine play right there by Caleb. A lot of foul ground for catchers to have to work with as they near that wall. And Caleb, good concentration. Yesterday, just missed one a little closer to the Orioles dugout here. Good play. Got the pads on there, so takes the pain as he runs into the wall. Good concentration as he holds onto that baseball.
Bogart's up. 1 down. Bogart's 0 for 2 has struck out, grounded out. Maybe that was an Oriole fan over there with the glove because they held the glove back, pulled away. Good work by the fan who could have reached out and interfered with that and did not. 1-0 on Bogarts, hitting at 349. Tommy Hunter. Pitch will be away by Hunter to him. Bogarts has only faced Tommy a couple times and 1 for 2 against him. Orioles bullpen, 4.83 ERA coming in. That's second highest in the league. That will be coming down as the bullpen settles in. Hard to short Cabrera. Over to Davis, and there are 2 away. Get your copy of the Orioles all-new official legacy book. It's Baltimore Orioles, 60 Years of Oriole Magic. Behind-the-scenes stories, photos from the team's first 6 decades. Jim Palmer wrote the introduction to it. The Orioles full or partial season plan members get 20% off the book. To get your copy, reserve it at Orioles.com/book.
The shadows start creeping in on the field. Of course, yesterday's game time at 4 o'clock. It is about 4 o'clock on the nose here. That's what they were looking at. It gets a little bit tougher for the hitters as the ball comes out of the sunshine into the shade.
Leon ground ball towards second base. Played on the hop by Flaherty, and Tommy Hunter has a very solid inning. They are retired. 1, 2, 3. KD Lang, Shadowland, Great CD. DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com and a promo code TRIPLEPLAY for free entry. And by visitannapolis.org. You'll find the Chesapeake experience at visitannapolis.org. That's a key that we got to get a midshipman on in this game. That's all there is to it. I mean, I'm an Army guy, but we do recognize that there is a couple other forces. Serve him.
My dad was Air Force.
Air Force?
So we get that covered.
Pitch is taken by Manny Machado. Manny contributed, picking up an RBI and a sac fly in the 5th inning. He's had a base hit. So officially he is 1 for 2 in the ballgame. And that pitch will be taken away. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Machado. Breslow on in relief. Porcello charged with the 8 runs on 12 hits. 2 home runs. That is in there for a strike. Adam Jones, 2 RBI homer. A 3 RBI double. 5 RBI game for him. Ryan Flaherty, the other home run solo shot, his 2nd of the year.
Adam Jones, a great performance offensively today, but really the whole lineup, top to bottom. Breslow fires a fastball by Manny Machado right there. 90 miles an hour, trying to work away. Got on the plate. Manny possibly looking for something else. Jones got the hit face on right now. He's had it for about 9 games.
Ryan Flaherty, a walk, a fly ball, along with that home run. Breslow's delivery to it, and the swinging strike. Orioles actually with a bit of a comfort zone here, but it's still just the 7th inning of an 8-3 ball game. Flaherty didn't see a lot of left-handers last year. He was 8 for 46, but he had 3 home runs off him. That ball will curve towards the green monster. Ramirez back. Look out. It's going to hit off the top, and again he misplays it. Flaherty will go into second base. Backed up Betts. And it'll be a double, and Flaherty's on with his 2nd hit, a homer and a double. As that one kept going up with the green monster, and again Ramirez struggling to play that wall.
Yeah, he has. He struggled in this series, and I think all year long. Gets turned around a little bit on the fly ball. Wind pushes it off the wall. And, boy, it's going to take some time, I think, for him to get comfortable playing that bounce. I see so many guys who make that adjustment, able to make those plays at second base, throwing them out. We saw De Aza do that to Ortiz, but nice job by Betts, aware of Ramirez's problems to back up.
Another hot bat. Here's Caleb Joseph. Caleb's got a single, a walk, and been hit by a pitch on all 3 times. 6-game hit streak for him. He has driven home 4. The Orioles are 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position in the ball game. Joseph's got another opportunity right here. 13 hits now for the Orioles. Breslow, a couple of looks back. And it'll be fouled back off the fist. And the Orioles offense really coming to light here with 13 hits, 4 runs yesterday, and now 8 runs on 13 hits in this ball game. They left 10 on base in the ball game yesterday, and they've had somebody on base in every inning of this ball game, and have left somebody on all except the 1st inning. Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way. Swings through the heater. Fastball up at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, Caleb's been seeing the ball pretty well too, and on that swing there, chasing a little bit up and out of the zone, wanting to do too much. So riding to the top of the zone for strike 2.
Pitch on the way, and that ball hit in the air to right center field. Who wants it? Second base. Tough play. Holt can't get the force though at second, and Joseph is retired. Now there are 2 away, 1 and 2.
Flaherty kind of deep breath, a tough read for a runner at second base when you have a little in between fly ball. Nice job by Holt to recover and make that play, and Ryan Flaherty was creeping off just in case he misplayed it.
Now Cabrera, base hit, scored in the 6th. He's hit into a double play, struck out, grounded out. Breslow's pitch to him, took a little off that and had him out in front of it. For Cabrera last year against left-handers, he hit .253, hit .226 against right-handers. switch hitter. Runner off second base. Off the fists and foul. Right back into the seats. 2-strike count.
Cabrera, not huge numbers offensively, but puts together quality professional at bats. Really works pitchers. Buck Showalter has used him at the bottom of the lineup, at the top of the lineup. He leads off today. Been around a little bit, so there's some experience there, and I think slowly but surely Buck Showalter gaining a lot of trust in Everett Cabrera.
Breslow wanted the signs again. Orioles runner in scoring position, 2 outnumbered, down to 214 coming into today's game. Flaherty runs and swung on and missed. No one was watching. He took off. Didn't matter. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. 7th inning stretch time. Orioles lead at 8-3. Is Mitch Harris, who graduated from the United States Naval Academy. He is now pitching for the St. Louis Cardinals, who drafted him back in 2008. You see his career appearances. He's with their AAA team, the Memphis Redbirds, and this season he's appeared in 3 games. He's given up no earned runs, and he is 2 for 2 in save opportunities. He's 27 years old because he chose to serve his time after graduating from the academy rather than asking for a reprieve from the time to be served. So that's why he's at 27. Now, if he makes it to the majors, he will be just the 2nd Naval Academy graduate to do so. Nemo Gaines is the other, who pitched for the Washington Senators back in 1921. So we send along our best to Mitch Harris, and for his service as well. That's a nice story to follow.
Yeah, it sure is. Of course, the Orioles have Oliver Drake, who attended the Naval Academy, but I think he completed. I think he went on to pursue his baseball career after he got drafted. But I loved reading the story about Mitch Harris, how he met a cook from the Dominican and played catch with him on the flight deck.
Yeah.
A lot of baseballs were lost overboard.
That's a tough place to play catch.
Right?
On the flight deck. That's great. That's a good story. And the Cardinals hung with him until he got done. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning, an 8-3 ball game. Tommy Hunter will work his 2nd inning. He retired the side in order, throwing only 10 pitches in the 6th. Holt, the leadoff batter, a single, 1 for 3. Scored in the first inning on the home run by Ramirez. Red Sox have not scored since the first. Hunter's delivery in there for a strike. Gonzalez gave up the 3 runs and 5 hits over 5, looking for his second win. He walked 4 and struck out 5. Porcello, the pitcher of record for Boston, 8 runs, 12 hits, and 5+. Chopper to short. Cabrera makes the throw. Speedy Holt retired, 1 away in the 7th inning.
A tough chance right there from Cabrera. That came off the bat hot. Had a little spin on it. Kicked back, and then he looks up. And Holt is flying down the line. Cabrera, a strong arm from shortstop. A good play there.
That'll bring Mookie Betts to the plate. Betts has an 0 for 3 in the game and an 0 for 6 so far in this series. 11 o'clock tomorrow. Back for game 4. 10:30 O's extra. Orioles play tomorrow, then they will head up to Toronto. The Red Sox will conclude their homestand tomorrow and head to Tampa Bay. 0-1 the count. Hunter's delivery to him, breaking ball that's going to miss outside, and the count goes to 1-1.
I like how Tommy's mixing up his pitches. We talk about him and his high earned run average right now. A lot of tough luck for Tommy. We're back with Dom Chidi, and we're talking about Tommy, and he said he looked at the tapes and only 1 ball that Tommy has given up for a base hit was actually squared up and hit hard. All the rest broken bat hits, flares that have found grass in the outfield.
Got him. 2 down in a hurry. Hunter throwing a lot of strikes.
Yeah, so mixes up some off-speed pitches early and then fires uphill 95 miles an hour on the outside corner to lock Betts up. Beautiful fastball there.
So Hunter gets a couple of quick ones here in the 7th inning. Daniel Nava came on for Ortiz, who got thrown out of the ball game in the 5th inning during his plate appearance. They're showing up an umpire on a call check swing. Nava grounded out, and the pitch will be taken down low from Tommy Hunter. Nava's had success against Hunter, going 4 for 11 with a home run. They shift just the way they would have against Ortiz all the way around. Nava hitting .250 on the year, takes the pitch away, and a 2-0 count. Ramirez waiting on deck.
I think Tommy's really good at is to start hitters off with off-speed pitches. Here, falling behind with the fastball down and out of the zone.
Hit hard right into the shift. Flaherty, he'll make the play, and that will retire the side. Tommy Hunter getting it done in a hurry. 18 pitches over 2 innings, retiring all 6 faced. Of the sfgate.com. How about having a haiku day on the A's official Twitter? And here's what they got. This is the girlfriend of Sean Doolittle, a player with the A's. Her haiku was, "Sean is on DL. I'm getting so sick of him. Get out of the house." The response came from Sean Doolittle with his own haiku, pretty darn rude. "I'm going to walk the dog, never coming back." Haikus at a high level.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I know it's tough when you're on the disabled list. And obviously she understands that as well.
That ball hit to left field. Ramirez got a line on this one, and Paredes on the pitch is retired. All right, let's take a look with Adam Jones coming up at our Lexus of Towson drive of the game.
Well, Adam Jones has been red hot. Comes in looking to extend his streak. Well, he does. Got the bases loaded. Drive the game off the wall. That's a double for Adam Jones. Hit a home run earlier in the ball game. And swinging a hot bat.
Our drive of the game brought to you by Lexus of Towson, the area's #1 volume Lexus dealer, 5 years running. See why. LexusofTowson.com. And the pitch will be taken down low. Adam Jones. I didn't want to. I wanted you to finish that though, guys, on the DL at home.
yeah, it's not good. I mean, typically players aren't very good patients anyway. They get hurt and then they complain about it and want to get back on the field and they take it home with them.
Yeah. Well, Adam Jones continues just unoutable, if there's such a thing. 4 hits in the ball game today. He's had 2 singles, a double, and the home run. May not get a shot at the cycle again in this one, but what a ball game, and equaling career high in 5 RBIs. He continues to just pump that average up. And the Orioles have their 14th hit of the ball game. Chris Davis coming up a double. A couple of strikeouts, fielder's choice, runs scored. Hitting at .256 with 2 home runs. And down to first and foul.
Yeah, Chris Davis early in the ball game, I mean, he might have had a home run. He drove one to right field, but the wind kept it in the ballpark, and Victorino misplayed it and heads on into second base. But Chris Davis has been swinging the bat so well, and a big reason for that is the fact that he's been using the whole field. He's hit a home run yesterday the other way over the Green Monster, picked up some base hits the opposite way. So Chris Davis is he's not just a power hitter. When he uses the whole field, he becomes a quality offensive player.
He'll take the pitch away from Breslow. Breslow trying to eat up some innings here, and effectively so, with Marcelo going only 5+ innings. So this is the 3rd inning that Breslow's been asked to come on, try and get through. Jones not a big lead at first base. Davis on a shattered bat takes it to right. Will be handled by Victorino. Davis retired, and Jones back to first base, and there's what's left of the bat. Chris Davis out of there, 2 down. Delman Young batting here in the 8th inning. Delman an 0 for 3 and a walk. Getting the start in left field today for Delman Young.
Not a lot of playing time for Delman here in the early going of the season, but something he's kind of accustomed to. Last year, he had a tremendous amount of playing time, but any time Buck Showalter called on him, he did something to help this team win. Today, not a lot of hits, but did draw a walk, so just his presence in a lineup can really affect how pitchers go through, and the successes that he's had go a long way.
Delman's had only 18 at-bats this year, including today. You compare that with the regulars who are up in the mid-40s in at-bats. But Delman tends to accumulate at-bats in a hurry, as he'll play sometimes 3-4 games in a row, a couple of times in the field, then take over a DH role. 1 ball, 1 strike count, 278 average, nothing wrong with that.
No.
Adam Jones on at first base, 2 away. Young will take the Breslow delivery inside, and a 2 ball, 1 strike count.
The thing that Delman Young does so well is he keeps himself prepared to play. He has a nice routine when he knows he's not in the lineup. be ready to come in and pinch hit. And you already talked about how successful he's been in that role. So being ready all the time is really why he's had so much success. I mean, he's always working out, he's running, getting in the batting cage, trying to stay fresh, keep himself in game shape. Kevin Gausman standing out in the Orioles pen.
Young due for a long ball. Hasn't had a home run since last August against the Twins. Young will pop that one up down the line. Second base, Holt will come over and put it away. No runs on one hit, no errors, and one left on base. Orioles lead at 8-3. Two teams wrap up this 4-game set. Wei-Yin Chen on the mound against Justin Masterson. Our coverage on Masson at 10:30. O's Extra presented by Jeep, and our game coverage at 11 a.m. All the access you need right here on Masson.
Well, take a look at tomorrow's starters, and both managers hoping that they are morning people. 11 o'clock start. Wei-Yin Chen with that .435 earned run average. We'll bring that down a little bit. Masterson looked good in his first start. His second start, not so good. Gave up 7 earned runs in just over 4 innings of work. So he's looking to get back on track. Be a nice finale tomorrow morning. Kevin Gausman now in out of the Orioles bullpen. Take a look at his pitch arsenal. 65% fastballs, and it's a good one. He can rush it up there in the high 90s. Typically works around 93, 94 though. Breaking ball 12% of the time, and a real good change. Earned run average up for Kevin. He hasn't quite found that rhythm yet out of the bullpen. You see the 5 walks, the 5 strikeouts right now. The power pitcher needs to locate a little bit better, keep the ball down in the zone.
Ramirez will lead it off. Hanley Ramirez against Gausman. Great job by Tommy Hunter. He retired everyone. 6 retired, 2 innings, and a strikeout. Well, the Red Sox continue not having scored since that first inning. That's been it. They've stranded only 3 base runners since then, and only one of those in scoring position. 1-0 delivery on the way. Ramirez will take it. Orioles will have Snyder in left field, Young out of there, and Lowe comes on to play right field where Snyder had been, David Lowe. Ramirez, the home run and a single, 2 for 3, 3 RBIs, 5 home runs on the year. Gausman's pitch to him, inside corner for a strike. Red Sox need base runners here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 8-14-1 for the Orioles, 3-5-0 for Boston. Braves beat Toronto today 5-2. The Orioles' next opponent, and they head there after the ball game tomorrow. Here's the 2-1 delivery on the way, turned on a foul, way out in front.
Steady dose of fastballs up at 97 miles an hour, and changeup that comes in looking just like the heater, only at 88. Ramirez, all he can do is yank that one foul into the stand. See the pitch track location, trying to work him inside and down. Doing a nice job right now.
Napoli and Sandoval to follow. 2-2. Gausman another fastball that will miss inside. So a full count, 3-2 on the Red Sox leadoff batter. Orioles are really going to move up in the numbers department as far as their offense is concerned, with the 8 runs on 14 hits that they have put up in this ball game. Orioles started the day 4th in average and 7th in runs, tied for 1st in home runs. Down to first base, nice play. Skip to Davis, he's got it. And Ramirez is retired. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. One down. Napoli a base hit, a couple of strikeouts. He's at just 146 for a batting average on the season.
Well, it's nice to see this Orioles bullpen coming in, doing a good job. Kevin Gausman there, nice job to battle back and get Ramirez. Been a tough out today for the Orioles, but they've had their struggles here in the early going, giving up some runs in 9 consecutive games. Yesterday, though, started to build the confidence back. Saw Brad Brock come in and get a huge double play, and then Darren O'Day came in, another big double play. So the confidence starting to rise. Zach Britton closing that game out, but today Tommy Hunter, as you mentioned, a beautiful performance, and now Kevin Gausman looking to try and build that confidence as well. Get these guys back on track. This Orioles bullpen has really been what they've relied on the past few years. They've really been outstanding, a dominant back end of the bullpen, and everybody have been consistent contributors.
Napoli's got a 1-for-5 lifetime off Gausman, who'll get the fastball in there at 97 miles an hour and gets ahead on the count here, 1-2. Kevin trying to keep up the 1-2-3 innings Tommy Hunter had in both the 6th and 7th. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be foul back. 9 in a row have been retired by the Orioles since the last Red Sox runner, which was Ramirez back in the 5th inning when he picked up a 1-out single. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Gausman's delivery to him, and he bounces it out in front. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, that's what Caleb wanted. He was insistent there before the pitch was delivered, kept pointing down to the ground. You better get it down. You do not want to hang this pitch. Execute it, and Kevin made sure of it. Bounced it about 5 feet out in front of home plate.
I'm talking about Napoli going after those pitches that have been way up out of the strike zone. 2-2 delivery on the way. In the air, right field, line drive, right at him. Lowe's got it. Napoli's retired. And there are 2 away.
Hard hit balls off Kevin Gausman, but nice defensive plays. Chris Davis down at first, and David Lowe, line drive, coming in and making a good play.
So the shift will be put on as Sandoval will stand in. 0 for 2 and a walk. 1 for 8 against the Orioles in the series with 1 RBI. 2 down, bases empty. Sandoval 273 on the year. That one down the line, left field, curving over towards the corner. It'll hit halfway up the wall, played on the hop. Snyder, throw in, not in time, but boy did he play it well. That's the way you play the Green Monster. And he almost got him. Sandoval will get a double.
Sure is. Not a lot of experience playing the Green Monster, but recognizing it off the wall, gets himself in a good position. He turns his body, gets a bare hand. Very efficient move. Nice throw into Ryan Flaherty. Sandoval just in there in time for the double.
So that will break the streak of 10 in a row retired. Puts the runner at second base. 6th hit of the ball game. First one since the 5th inning. Shane Victorino with an RBI chance. A walk reached on an error, and he's popped out. And the pitch to him is in there for a strike. Victorino with a 1 for 7 off Gosman. Orioles will not hold Sandoval tight at second base, and that'll be fouled off. Off the heater up there in that mid and upper 90s range where he's throwing today in an 0-2 count.
Yeah, he is. Now, typically when he starts, he'll work at 93, 94, and then pop him up there 98, 99. Coming out of the bullpen, feeling strong, consistently over 95 miles an hour, and he's keeping the ball down in the zone. He looks really good.
Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way, and a swing and a miss. And that'll do it in the inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. We'll head to the 9th. It is an 8-3 Orioles lead. Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by PNC for the achiever in you. Fenway Park is the site. Cool afternoon. Gary Thorne, Mike Bordick with you. The Orioles have the 8-3 lead, trying to go up 2-1 in this 4-game set. To the bullpen go the Sox.
Yeah, Edward Mujica coming in the ball game. Here's a look at his pitch arsenal. 40% fastballs, 88-92 with his fastball, breaking ball, slider, and the split finger. Go-to strikeout pitch. 5 games, 3.18 earned run average, 5 punch outs, 0 walks. Yeah, he's a command control specialist. Comes over, he can locate all of his pitches. Knows how to work both the lefties and the righties.
Orioles will bat here in the 9th inning against him, and Travis Snyder will lead it off. RBI base hit, couple of strikeouts and a pop out for Snyder, who has played both right and left field in this ball game. O's blowing this one open in the middle part of the game, getting the 2 runs, 3 hits in the 5th inning, and following that up with the 3-run, 3-hit 6th inning. 0-1 delivery by Mohican, and we slap towards second base. Holt. Snyder retired, 1 down in the 9th.
Let's look at his split finger right there. Gets ahead with the fastball and then drops a splitty in. Easy ground ball out. Start his inning and work off.
Mojica carries a 2-1 lifetime mark against the Orioles. 2 for 3 in save chances. 15th game Mojica's pitched against Baltimore with a 4.76 ERA. Manny Machado. RBI, sac fly, single, couple of strikeouts. And Machado will take the pitch inside for a ball. One of the things the Orioles talked about in spring training was the probable need to up their on base percentage in the course of the year in order to pick up more runs, giving them more opportunities early on, and it's very early. The Orioles have done that. They've moved into 5th place in the American League in on-base percentage coming into today's play.
Well, they have had a really good game plan since day one. Pretty solid offensive approaches. This is one of those years you wonder what's going to happen. New hitting coach Scott Coolbaugh, but everybody respects him. It seems like they're all on the same page. Coolbaugh isn't forcing any issues. He's taking what each player does best and trying to make the most out of that. But a lot of it is having a solid game plan. You just can't go up there hacking. You have to understand what pitchers are trying to do to you. And that's what Mr. Coolbaugh has been doing, and it has been working well for this team.
Manny will go down to 3rd. That is a foul ball. Adam Jones certainly has helped the cause. Moving up towards a .500 batting average. 4 other hits today, 5 home runs, 5 RBI ball game for him. That'll help your team on base percentage. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Machado, and he will take the pitch outside. I was looking at him, started the day with an on base percentage of .457 and a slugging percentage of .756, and that's only gone up.
Yeah.
Both numbers. And he go. Andy Fletcher down to 1st.
David Ortiz got thrown out of the game for questioning the check swing call. It was a strike on him. Red Sox fans wanting all the check swings on the Orioles to be strikes.
3-2 the count. Mojica's delivery to him. Foul back. A lot of folks have departed our midst. There are a lot of people now disguised as empty red seats, especially on the third base left field side, because that's where the sun's not been shining. People down the other line, I think a lot of people have moved from there over to the other side.
Yeah.
That side's pretty full down the right field line. That ball's going to go into the corner. Manny Machado will pick himself up a base hit. Ramirez off the wall. Manny, there's a Fenway single. Has played well by Ramirez, so Machado's on his 2nd hit of the ball game. And another one for the Orioles. A couple of them picked up by Ryan Flaherty. Let's take a look for our Miller Lite moment.
Ryan Flaherty back home from New England, putting on a show for family and friends as he takes Porcello to straightaway center at Fenway Park, and he's having himself another fine series.
As we promised, Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Good day for Ryan. 2 for 3. That solo shot. Batting average up to 300. Also opportunity here for Ryan. It's Maybes.
Picked up a walk in the ball game as well. That'll be on the inside corner for a strike. Runner at first, Manny Machado. 15 hits for the Orioles. 0-1 count with 1 down. Off the tarp in the first row. Orioles had a 15-hit game against the Yankees. That's their high for the year, so they've equaled that in this ball game. And see whether they add to it. 2 strike count on Flaherty. Caleb Joseph due up next. Orioles now with the 8 runs in this game. 61 on the year. They've outscored opponents, including this game, 61-53 so far in the young year. On the other side for the Red Sox, they have scored 63 runs and given up 64. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Flaherty. Runner off first base, foul back.
Yeah, well, coming into this series, the Red Sox offense was working on all cylinders. They were averaging over 6 runs per game. Knew it was going to be a test for this Orioles team, but the pitching has really done a nice job. They shut down this Red Sox offense, and of course the Orioles offense really starting to pick it up.
A little discussion on what they want to throw here. Mojica with a 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to go to short. 1 hopper. Holt makes the transition to first. And that'll do it. Bogarts to Holt to Napoli. The Orioles need 3 to wrap up victory number 7. Has not been standing. He's been running, as you said. What a day. He is just red hot. 5 RBIs in the ball game. So the Orioles will try and finish it up here. Gonzalez could win his second. Porcello could lose his second. No save situation here for Kevin Gausman. I'll tell you about the Atlanta 5-2 win over Toronto. I was just looking to see their Norris, their young starter, struggled today. He gave up 5 runs, 6 hits in 2 2/3 innings for Toronto. And Atlanta went on to get that win in interleague play. So Kevin Gausman looking for 3 outs. Xander Bogaerts leads it off. And the pitch down low for a ball. 0 for 3 in the ball game. 2 for 10 for Bogaerts in this series so far. Gausman working in his second inning has given up just 1 hit. 1-0. That's there for a strike. 37,761 the attendance. 37,761.
Every fastball Kevin Gausman is throwing is down at the knees. A nice adjustment he's made.
1-1 delivered to Bogaerts, will be outside. And the 2-ball, 1-strike count. City will be made ready for the Boston Marathon tomorrow. All of the crossings closed here in the city, many of them for the runners. They've had the sidewalk blockade items set up here, but not put up. All that will be done tonight. And tomorrow, weather-wise, doesn't look very good. It's supposed to be cold, rainy, and windy. 3-1 delivery on the way. And that is right there for a strike. So he takes him full, 3-2.
Good fastball. Bogaerts didn't let it fly right there, but he knows his job is to try to get on base. Take a look at the pitch track. Every offering down in that lower third or lower. That's where you want to be. Stay out of the danger zone.
And the 3-2 delivery on the way. Gets a pop-up outside of first base. Davis will back up on it and put it away. Bogaerts retired, 1 down. Follow the Orioles all season long with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat up to the moment at any moment. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, broadcasts, StatCast, and more. So get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. You can be sure he's got it on his tablet. 1 down here in the 9th inning. Leon coming up. Sandy Leon, their catcher, hitting 9th. 0 for 2 and a walk in the ball game. Gausman will miss inside with it for a ball. Orioles with a win will go 4-2 early on the road. That is there for a strike. Red Sox, if they're going to do anything, have got to improve in that home record that they had last year. If they lose here, they'll be 500 at home early, 3-3. Last year they ended up 34-47 at home, one of the worst home records the Red Sox have had in a long time. That pitch will bounce, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
A tough year for the Red Sox after winning the World Series the previous year. We talked about coming into this series, they're looking to try to do what they've done and go worst to first. Again.
Pitch on the way to him, and that will be foul back. Gosman gets the count evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Holt waiting on deck, the leadoff batter. Dustin Pedroia did not play in the ball game today as he got a rest. Don't believe there's anything physically wrong with Pedroia. You should see him in the ball game tomorrow. 2 ball, 2-strike count. And full again, 3-2.
Really, first time we've seen him lose a fastball. Quick there. Fastball loses it arm side, up and away.
And the 3-2 delivery to him. Down the shady side and into the seats. So it'll stay 3 balls and 2 strikes. There you see where the fans have moved, where the sun is shining on this 46-degree day now. Not a lot of sun left shining into the ballpark, but a lot more people there on the other side. Gosman with a 3-2 delivery again.
Working a pretty good at bat here. Fouling off some tough pitches. 97 down and away from Gosman. Tough pitch to even get a piece of the bat on.
Orioles offense today, not only the 8 runs on 15 hits, but they have left 9 on base in the ball game. A lot of base runners here in this game. Porcello giving up the 2 home runs as starter. That's playable out in left field. Snyder under, and there are 2 down. Leon retired, 2 away here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Top of the order, and Holt coming up. Base hit, 1 for 4 in the ball game, 4 for 8 in this series against the Orioles. Gosman trying to finish off a very productive day for the entire ball club.
Yeah, it didn't really look too promising in the first inning. Miguel gave up that 3-run home run, but he settled down. The bullpen came in. What we've seen him do so many times years here is shut it down, put up zeros.
1-0 count on Brock Holt. Gosman's pitch to him will be on the inside corner for a strike. And it'll go to 1-1. The delivery to Holt. Jackknifed away from that one. How many sunflower seeds can you eat in one game? Chew on. A lot. 2-1 pitch on the way. That's right there. So the fastball at 96 evens it up. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Holt.
Easy cheese. Kevin Gosman, that loose arm. Comes out of that hand quick.
Two delivery on the way. Holt the chopper. Kevin Gausman looking for the final out. Gets it. And that's the ball game. So the Orioles come away with an impressive performance here in Game 3 as they will pick up the victory. 8-3 the final. Orioles 8-15-1. They left 9 on base. The Red Sox 3-6-0. They left 7 on base in the ball game. Gonzalez will get the win. Miguel is now 2-1 on the year. Porcello will take the loss. He is 1-2. And Adam Jones with the big 4-hit, 5 RBI day for the Orioles.
Yeah, pretty impressive game, offensive game once again. Pitching rising to the occasion. Get this offense going and solid pitching and defense. And this team is one of the better teams in the game. I'll tell you, coming into this series, the first game, with everything that happened with Ubaldo being ejected, there was some concern. How is this team going to respond? Is the bullpen going to be overtaxed now? And the team responded well. Buck Showalter keeps these guys focused, says, hey, this stuff happens, let's move on. Sure, it's too bad that it happened to Ubaldo, and you got to make your adjustments, but don't dwell on that. And they certainly haven't. Back-to-back great games for the Orioles all the way around.
And certainly for the bullpen. Take a look at our Maryland Live Casino inside the numbers. The bullpen, as we've talked about, struggling early, but you take a look at yesterday and today, the pitchers used, the innings pitched, only 1 hit in each game off the bullpen with no runs, and a real good 7-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
Yeah, and they had their problems coming into this series, and it's just a matter of finding the rhythm. Well, hopefully this is the series. They find it. You see a lot more zeros going to be put up. I mean, this bullpen has been one of the best for the last 3 years. Looks like they're getting back on track.
And for Adam Jones, an unbelievable day today.